Yo, 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 414, what it do, what it do? It's your boy, Kevin Barnes, militant with a microphone, the mouthpiece of the movement, aka the Negro Whisperer, here with your Wednesday edition of Outlaw Radio, Out of Pocket, but didn't come on Monday for whatever reason. But we are here tonight, so tell a friend to tell a friend that the show is on. It is Outlaw Radio, like I stated, it's what we do on Mondays and Wednesdays, normally Mondays and Wednesdays. At 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time until whenever we choose to cut the machine off. All I need you to do is hit like, hit share, hit follow, share the show, let people know the show is on. What is Outlaw Radio about? Outlaw Radio is a foundational Black American platform in which we discuss everything that is pertinent, relevant, and important to Black people. So if that's your kind of conversation, then this is for you. If not, then I would suggest you keep it moving or stick around and be entertained, enlightened, or informed, or empowered. So, what we have with this show is we have a phone number, and that is 262 202 5131, 262 202 5131. And we also have a chat room, people already in the chat room as we speak. Shout out to all of my Outlaw family that's in the chat room every week. I see Dion in the chat room. He said, what up? So I said, what up back? And I see Brenda Peterson. Hey, Kev. She said, what up, Brenda? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing over there in the Twin Cities? Hope everything's going right for you all. So like I said, man, this is what we do on Mondays and Wednesdays. This is Wednesday, so we won't be back on this week, but we will be back Monday, hopefully, if things um, go right. Like I say, go right. If they go my way, in my favor, and I feel like doing a show, then we'll be on next Monday as well. But you can always go to my Facebook page, Kevin Barnes. That is my government name. You can go to my Facebook page. There are shows there. And on our YouTube page, which is the People's Network with a Z, there are, I think 296 shows from the past 12 or 13 years that we've been doing this. They're all archived on there. And we also have an Outlaw Radio page on Facebook. And there's the People's News Network, which is our sister group, which I'm also the founder and architect of. And you can go there and see these shows as well. So plenty of different ways to see the show. I see Orlando in the chat room early. What up, Orlando? He said, family. What's happening, Orlando? Dion is saying, what's up once again? Hey, man, this was the 4th. Last week was the 4th of July weekend. Happy 250th birthday to America. Going in, a lot of people felt a certain kind of way about the 4th of July, as we always do as Black people, because, you know, you say it's Independence Day and you're celebrating America's freedom, but a lot of people talk about where we were when the actual Declaration for Independence was signed, which was enslaved in this country. And we will remain so for about another 200 years before we were, I guess, technically released with the Emancipation Proclamation in 1865. And then we endured about 100 years of purity hell with Jim Crowism and then the crack epidemic. So Black people have been through it in this country. So a lot of Black people in turn say, I don't support the 4th of July or Independence Day. Okay, well, that's your choice. I personally had a very good 4th of July, good food. Family was here. And I say was here because my daughter is here from the Twin Cities. Always a pleasure to have her around. My son's here. My wife's here. Cooked some good pork on the grill and ate, man. And that's what it's about, spending time with your family. So I hope you had a good time as well. Hope you got to see somebody you haven't seen in a while and show your appreciation for them. But it was so much going on around the country because, like I said, it's America's 250th anniversary. We know that Trump had his his fake ass 250, what was it, state fair? What was that shit? Y'all let me know. Talk to me out there. And I don't know, I guess it was sparsely attended. I did see that there had some rain. And so a bunch of these white nationalists and white supremacists had to take shelter in the African-American history of museum. So, you know, poetic justice, I guess you could say. But elsewhere around the country, it was a lot going on the 4th of July. Like I know here in Milwaukee, we had crazy mad fireworks as usual. But also we had some fighting and some riots and some a policeman was hurt. She was trying to break up some teen takeovers, I guess, and a firework went off, hit her in the face. She was down for the count. So that went viral on social media. So, and around the country, it was a lot going on, man. It was some law enforcement officers who were assaulted, shot. Some people lost their lives. So it was a crazy 4th of July. People was as they say, turned up for the 4th. So if you didn't celebrate, I guess your kids did. Yeah, they wild out on the 4th of July. Um, so there's that to talk about, and then we're going to talk about our gubernatorial race here in Wisconsin, in which we had two, not one, but two black men in the race. Two very, very well-known brothers who have been involved in local politics for a while. Brother David Crowley, who's been on the show before, who I'm cool with. Actually, have had some great conversations with Dave over the years. And Mandela Barnes, who was also on my show a long time ago, before most people even knew who he was. Okay, shout out to Keith Terry, way back when we used to do 3041 Live, and we had Mandela down. Local press was kind of handling him rough because he was running against Lena Taylor. And so, he needed somewhere where he could be heard. And so we provided that. And I've had some conversations with Mandela over the years. Cool brother, as far as I can tell. But he's also running for governor. We see today that, and the gubernatorial election is coming up in November, y'all. We got a primary coming up, and then we have that election in November. We see today that Brother DC decided to drop out. So we're going to talk about that as well. What else I got? Oh, man, craziness with Big Tigger and Marcellus Wiley. And Stephen A. Smith done jumped out the damn gym with some craziness. We got some good news about the city of Milwaukee in terms of crime and homicide trending downwards. Now, we say this and knock on wood because we hope that this doesn't turn around and bite us in our ass moving forward, because there's some drop off in the crime here and in the violence and the homicide, which is something that's much needed in the city of Milwaukee. Trust me. The past few years, I swear, every summer it was just up, right? It was going crazy. So I'm happy to see that. I think one of the important things to talk about tonight would be, why is that drop there? I don't want to hear about, what policies have been put in place or what programs have been working out here, even though some of them might like to take credit. So we'll talk about that tonight. Brandon Hayes, what it do, man? What it do, Brandon? How you doing this evening, man? Y'all share this show. Rosalind Anderson. Oh, that's Dion. He said, fuck America. Hey, Dion, you got the right to say what you want, right? For freedom of speech. Mikey Davis, man. What up, Mikey? Deacon, what it do, man? That's the homie right there. He said, what up, Kevin Barnes? He used my whole government. What up, Kevin Barnes? What up, Mike? What's going on, man? Erica Hunt, one of my Outlaw sisters out there. She's always with us, always supporting. Shout out to Erica Hunt. She said, what up, Outlaws? Ain't nothing to it, Erica. Look here, man. 262-202-5131 is the number you need to call if you got something to say. Or you can hold on to your anonymity by just commenting in the chat room. I mean, normally I'll put your comments up on the screen, but if you're shy, you don't want people to hear your voice. You don't want to lose your job, I guess, if that's what your fear is. You can always jump on this line, 262-202-5131. And Brendan is asking me about Mississippi. I am aware of Mississippi. They found a young brother. He was missing. And I think his name is Noel. And then they found him, and he was deceased. So they're trying to figure out what happened there. So I did hear about that. Brenda Peterson says they went to a tractor pull on Main Street, Balsam Lake. Okay, she said she had to take her mom out the nursing home for a minute. Okay, you had a busy weekend, Brenda. You had a busy weekend. So we talk about July 4th, and I kind of gave you a snapshot of kids out here wilding out, teen takeovers, but that's happening all over the place. That's not just a Milwaukee thing. We talk about the fights on Brady and Water here, which has just become a very, very problem spot in Milwaukee. Here's the thing, y'all. What we find out now is that the Milwaukee Police Department is down 200 officers. 200 officers short of a full force. And so when people question, like, how is all this madness going on around the city? We don't have enough cops, right? We don't have enough cops. It's a very interesting conversation, because I know a lot of brothers, see, Black people and police officers and law enforcement in general have a very kind of contentious relationship. we don't trust them, and a lot of times where we see is that they don't trust us, right? Like, so we're polar opposites a lot of times, as it may seem, right? Even though we both should have, both sides should have a common interest in keeping the community safe and keeping people safe. That's not how it's happened. Now, from a historical perspective, when you look at law enforcement, especially when we were in the South, when we were primarily in the South, most of the time law enforcement agencies were complicit with white supremacist organizations. So, if you had a sheriff department or a police department, normally most of the officers in the department were Ku Klux Klansmen, right? So they led a lot of the campaigns against the brothers and sisters in the community. So there's just a natural built-in distrust, and we know that our justice system needs rehab. So you don't see a lot of people, a lot of brothers in particular, applying for the police academy. Now, what's going to have to happen is that's going to have to change, right? That's going to have to change, because there is a need for those of us who grow up in these communities, those of us who are one of us who know what it's like and what we faced over the years from law enforcement. There's a need for those individuals to become law enforcement officers, right? We see a lot of young white guys who are from, I don't know, Oconomowoc, Brookfield, Glendale, or surrounding suburbs, and they're horrified. They're terrified when they come into the city and have to police the community. And a lot of times, what that ends up in is people being shot, people being murdered, things like that. So, I think there's a need for more black officers. I'd like to see more black police officers, more people who are from the community who understand what's going on, so we can police consciously. One thing is for sure, that when this city is on fire, when it's going crazy, as the young folks say, when it's up, you need police. You need police. If we're short police, then that means they can't cover all of the things that they need to cover, which puts all of us in jeopardy. So we definitely need, I don't know what they're going to do, if it's a recruiting problems, if it's a retention problem. If you have more information as to what you think the problem is for the shortage of police, please bang the line, 262-202-5131. That's 262-202-5131. Dion said he'll hit us up when he gets home. All right. Erica said, I took my family tubing in New London, Wisconsin for the 4th. Hey, man, good time to be with family, right? Brendan is asking at our barbecue. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I got on the grill, man. I got on the grill. One of those things of if you are a man and you have a family, one of the great pleasures is being able to get on that grill and put that meat together. Pause, no Diddy, right? And get that barbecue grill going and get that meat cooked. And just feeding your family, period. Just being able to provide and being able to sit and break it down, break bread with your family. But I've always taken tremendous pleasure in preparing the food when it comes to grilling. I mean, I love to grill anyways. So just to get out there, and the weather was cool. It did rain a little bit on the 4th of July, which was ironic. It was supposed to be this big celebratory occasion, and it started to rain. But the rain didn't really stop anything because I started early enough. Wifey made sure I got my ass up out of bed and got out there and got on the grill and got it going. But yes, sir, I did absolutely barbecue. Put some pork on there, boy. Put some paint where it ain't. It was delicious, man. It was delicious. Still got some upstairs, as a matter of fact. Olivia Miller, how you doing, Olivia? How you doing? She said, hey, Kev, how you doing? How you doing, Olivia? Known Olivia for a long time. Elementary school, right? What's happening? Anybody out there who went to Phillips School with us back in the day, shout out to you, right? Some old fogies now. It's crazy. Every time I stumble across one of those old school pictures and it says like 1985 on it, I'm tripping like, damn. That was a long time ago. But yeah, so the police shortage, they definitely have to come up with something, right? People, the citizens of Milwaukee need to be safe, right? This city needs to be safe. We want to be able to live in a city where you can, sleep in peace, right? We definitely don't need unnecessary violence in our community. I know that right now there's the Destined for Great program and some anti-violence initiatives being placed because the violence has been primarily concentrated in the Black community. So we definitely always want to combat that. But everybody needs to be safe, right? We have a lot of elderly people who have paid their dues and worked 30, 40, 50 years, paid for their homes, held down the community, been responsible, raised their families. They deserve to be safe, right? They shouldn't be scared to come outside. And we got babies. Our children need to be able to play. They need to be in the street. They need to be able to fellowship. I know when I was growing up in Milwaukee, and this was a different time, we were outside, right? I know people outside now always talking about, well, I'm outside, I'm outside. No, we were really outside. We rode our bikes, we played football, basketball, youth leagues, baseball. You'd be in the park, you'd be on the playground. Hell, most playgrounds now don't even have hoops no more. So it's crazy. But yeah, we were outside. Your parents encourage you going outside and play with your friends, right? Ran up and down the street like we was crazy. We all know what that rule was. Be in the house by the time the street lights come on. And most of the time we was on the porch then. And we was still playing, right? Like, so it was like we were outside. And if the community's safe, then I know my children in particular, they weren't allowed the same kind of gravity that I had to just go run through the community because it wasn't safe. And I wasn't about to take that chance. So, I know half the time we were somewhere on our bikes, my mother didn't know where the hell we was. We was outside. If you'd ask her where the kids at, they outside playing somewhere. We was somewhere in somebody's yard, raiding a fruit tree or something, just playing ding dong doorbell ditch, doing all kinds of crazy shit, man. But we were kids, and we were allowed to be kids. And if we got these kids who are addicted to these phones and these iPads and the internet, we don't want them raising our babies. But when they can't go outside and play, that's all they got left. So we need to have the community more safe so that, kids can go outside and play. There's a lot of Chesters out here, a lot of molesters out here, a lot of crazy, freaky people who will do something to children. As sick as that is, there's a lot of them out here. So we need to work on getting more police, man. We definitely do. We need to encourage some of our kids to hey, you have thought about a career in law enforcement. I mean, I'm too old now, y'all, so I'd be a poor ass cop because nobody would ever get caught. I'm physically, I'm in my days, my better days are behind me. And I was never really built. I came from that generation too, where, we wasn't really rocking with the police because we saw so much going on. She said, yes, sir. Phillip Elementary School, baby. Absolutely. Absolutely. The Phillip Falcons, man. Long time ago, man. I think I was in 5th grade when I met, or 4th grade when I met Olivia. So yeah, little shorty Kevin, right? Ace Cooley said, what it do, bro? Another cat who I've known for a very long time. What up, Ace? I went to middle school with Ace Cooley, right? So I go all the way back to Bell Middle School with Ace Cooley, man. So old, man. I'm old. This salt and pepper is well earned, man. This gray hair is well earned. Brendan said, you heard what Trick Daddy said about India Ivory. I absolutely did. I'm glad you brought that up. Oh, she hit me with the factual. She said 5th grade, room 33. Miss Kurth, right? Yes, Miss Kurth. I remember that. 5th grade, Olivia. Yes. I did. You know what? I did hear what Trick. Thank you for bringing that up, Brendan. Trick Daddy went nuclear on India Ivory. We've talked about this on the last couple of shows where there was some criticisms leveled against Young Miami for her song Spin That, which everybody now is pretty much unanimously named the song of the summer, right? Big hit for Young Miami. Spin That, right? And on there, she's, big upping scammers and boosters and talking about how she likes thugs and drug dealers and stuff like this, which is cool. Like, people were critical of that because they feel like it was a negative message and it set us back. And we got to understand that when it comes to hip hop in particular, well, anything in terms of art and expression, there's always room for criticism, right? But when it comes to hip hop has always been the poster child for criticism, heavy social criticism, because of some of the messages conveyed. I mean, I came up on NWA and Too Short and Ghetto Boys, this kind of stuff. So this was always an issue. But with Spin That, I look at it a couple different ways. Yes, it does celebrate some debauchery. It does. But I mean, it's also a reflection of our community because what's going on in the community? There's a lot of boosting and scamming going on in the community, right? Those are hustles. Poor people hustle. Poor people hustle out of necessity. Now, Are there better ways to go about, getting up out of your situation? Absolutely. Are there more wise decisions you can make other than something that could get you locked up or potentially, taken out the game? Absolutely. But is there situations where a lot of people don't have options or don't see them? Absolutely. Now, as like I said, I'm old now. I'm an old fogey now, and a lot of cats in my age group now, we are older, and we have kind of removed. Hopefully, if you were able to remove yourself from some of the shit we used to be on, right? Like, a lot of us at one point would have celebrated this song as well, but it would have been more about hustling and slanging and doing whatever we did, especially in the '90s. I know a lot of my partners, this is what they did. They hit the streets and they hustled. They flipped the bag. They did whatever they needed to do to get some money in their pocket. So this would have been like an anthem for us as well. But now if you've moved away from that, a lot of us sometimes we get a little self-righteous. We get beside ourselves and say, "Oh, that's some bullshit. These kids. What about the kids?" But this is for young people. This music is not marketed at us as older individuals. And also, if you're not in that lifestyle, I wouldn't expect you to understand it. But Trick Daddy, the way he went in on India Ivory, and then he started talking about old black women, and come on, Trick. I got to give Trick Daddy one of these. We got to move away from disrespecting women. Like that has to change. And that's supposed to be part of the maturation process that you undergo. Like I'm age has come up on this show. Like I threw it out here. One of the most important things that I realized in terms of maturing is that you can't disrespect women. You have to treasure and value women. You have to appreciate women. And so when you start, Trick Daddy, you old bitches and you old hoes, and like, come on, Trick, come on. I understood his perspective, as crazy as it is, because I've been a fool. I've been a fool in my life. I've been a wild boy, man. I don't know, depending on who you ask. A lot of people who say, yeah, I remember Kev. Kev was a crazy motherfucker, right, at one point. So I can't automatically always just down somebody who's still kind of living with that mindset. Trick Daddy's older than me, though, I believe, or we're the same age. It's got to be a better way. I have a daughter, right? I have a wife. I had a mom. I think right now it's important for us black men and black women to be more united than we've ever been. Especially seeing as how the way the black community has slipped in the last few years is because of the breakdown of the black family structure. So I felt like Trick Daddy's message was inappropriate, and I felt like he was super disrespectful to India Irie. I agree with India Irie's intention. I didn't necessarily agree with the way she went about it totally, but I mean, she has a platform. She is an artist who for years has tried to represent positivity for black women. And I think that India Irie could have done more and had more impact if she'd just released some music. To me, that was the answer to this whole puzzle. Like, if you don't like what's playing on the radio, or you don't like the message that's being conveyed, come up with your own, right? I think India Irie can come up with some music, and I hope this is what she has in the plan. Get together with other artists who are in this game, especially elder artists. I'm saying elder, as in older than Young Miami, and come up with some music, and I would then look at the record companies and say, okay, now what are you pushing? Because we need balance in this game, right? So, I just want to hear her make some more music. She hasn't had anything impactful in a while. I liked India Irie's song, "Video Girl," back in the days, even though it was the reign of the video vixens. It was the time when black women's images were being compromised because it became all about tooting it up, right? Twerking and bending over. And I feel like her positive messages in her music provided some balance. It provided some variation in the message, right? I mean, we all have a song that we like that ain't necessarily the most positive song in the world, right? Like, I mean, come on, like, so. But what Trick Daddy did, come on, man. I can't even ride with Trick Daddy's message, man. Now, if Trick Daddy feels like he said he doesn't like older women, like he said, and I think what Trick Daddy is speaking to is what a lot of black men right today have a problem with black women is there's some feminist ideologies with a lot of black women who have not been able to find a partner in terms of a husband, or maybe they're not in a relationship. They haven't been able to, find a man that's up to their standards. And so it's kind of like I call it man hating. And a lot of older women who've been through a lot express now, hey, I don't need a man. I don't want a man. And their criticism of men is incredible and crazy. And so you got a lot of sisters who, express that. So I think Trick Daddy was speaking more towards that than just black women who feel like, hey, I don't need to go out here and show my ass to be important. I hope that was the case. I don't know Trick Daddy personally. He's okay, but the Miami music in terms of what over the years, Miami's contribution to hip hop to me. That's just to me. Now, once again, we got a phone number 262-202-5131, and we have a chat room. Miami's contribution has always been kind of salacious. We got Luke, and I listened to Luke's response to India Irie, and a lot of people feel like, it's unfair. And Luke was one who said, why are you picking on this young lady, whatever. I thought Willie D's take on it was the most well thought when he said it's not necessarily that you're picking on her, but this is what you get when you're on top, especially in hip hop. When you popping, when you got a song that's going crazy, this is what you get. You get a response from people, whether they like it or whether they don't. But I feel like Miami's contribution has never been really lyrical or positive. I don't know if that's too much to say. Even Two Live Crew's music was, it was what it was, and some people liked it. It was good to party to. It got the women up on the dance floor, back in the days. But Miami has never been, if you look at Rick Ross and you look at all of the artists, most of them have been about sex, drugs, right, things like that. So it's just a continuation of it, right? Like it's to me, it's just a continuation of it. Let me go to this chat room. A says, black kids having problems getting unaided by their white friends. We need to stay alert. Okay. Erica said, I told y'all that was the song of the summer. Spin that. Erica, you did say that. At least that's what you said. He said he meant unalive. Black kids getting unalive by white kids. She said it's on her playlist, on her work playlist. Ruben Anderson, man, what it do, man? How you doing, Ruben? I hope everything's going well, man. I've been watching your Facebook like I'm always watching. See you expressing a lot of different sentiments. Please feel free to call in, Ruben, and put some seasoning on this conversation, man. We're talking about the drop in crime in Milwaukee. We're talking about this Spin That song and the criticism that's been weighed against it. We're talking about the gubernatorial race. So Ruben, you are one of the people from our community that's very, very, very talented at articulating his thoughts. So please feel free to call in, hit the line, Ruben. All of y'all, any my outlaw families out there, man, please hit the line. Let me know. Ian will be along. He said he'll be here around 8:30. He was stuck at work. So, and believe me, I talk to myself all the time. So this is nothing new. If you know me, Kev will do this for hours. He'll sit and talk to himself. A says, shit, we can come up conscious and positive music, but it won't get played. They need killing and disrespecting each other to keep us separated from one another and at each other's throats. See, that is the whole deal, right? Like, and so I've heard a lot of different debates on in the Podverse about the effect of music on individuals. And so we know music can be influential, right? We know. But I think what most people's point is, this is not the least of our problems. This is not the biggest problem we have. A song that's just celebrate, because if you listen to music now, it's totally different. Like, and I'm a hip hop guy. Me and hip hop are 2 years apart from each other in terms of age. And so I grew up on rap music. I grew up on hip hop. I went through the whole, when it started out with Grandmaster Flash and The Message, and kind of went into the boom bap out of New York, and then went into the gangster shit from LA and the West Coast, went down south and got really funky, soulful, came back up north, right? I've been through many different itinerations of hip hop. Some of it's been positive. Some of it has not been. But it's just like the blues. Some of it's very positive. It talks about love, life, emotions, what we go through in this country. Some of it's highly inappropriate, right? This is the truth. Same thing with rock. Same thing with almost every other art form, right? Like I've heard country songs talking about some shit, right? It's very important that people understand it is very, very, very serious. It's a serious need for you to raise your children. You need to raise your children. You cannot expect rap music to raise your children, television to raise your children. You can't expect a school. Like we know public schools, especially, are a place where kids should be going to be educated. But you play such a pivotal role in your child's education, more important than the teacher. Because the main lessons that you need in life should be taught at home. You get your foundation at home from your family, from your parents, right? I learned more from my mom and my dad than I ever learned from any other teacher, any teacher I ever had. And that's through college, anything, advanced studies, whatever. No matter where I've gone to school at, none of them taught me more than my parents did. So we need to take responsibility on raising our kids. If you are worried about the message conveyed by Young Miami in that song, pull your kids to the side. Say, let's talk about this, y'all. Let's talk about this song. Let's talk about this spin that. Let's do it. And ask them what they're getting out of this song, out of this music, and be ready for it to become a teachable moment. But the most important thing that you need to remember is it is your responsibility to raise your children, not Young Miami. Okay? Just remember that. Now I got a caller on the line. I believe this is Ruben. Is this Ruben? No. Who's on the line with me? Erica, what's happening? How you doing? Right. Happy 250, right? What's on your mind, Erica?
I want to say that I hate to see DC go out of the government race. I do got some respect for that man. He may not be the best politician, but he's been a stand-up guy from what I can see in my perspective. Um, and I've had a chance to work with him closely on a few things. Um, but I'm a big believer in teaching my kids there's a time and place for everything. I'm also a big fan of India Ari. And some of her songs helped make sure that I was confident in who I was as a young girl when I was in high school and she was making her music. But I just like the backlash on that because if you're a spiritual goddess, you understand that like there's a time and a place for everything. And as we move forward, back then twerking wasn't acceptable, but twerking has also been an African form of dance, right? It's also science to back up twerking and say, hey, it relieves all this trauma in your hips, it helps keep you young, it's a form of exercise. So like when I'm on my way to work, yeah, I'm listening to Spin That because it's motivating me to go ahead and keep being driven. And at first I was like, damn, she's talking about the scammers and robbers. And then I got to the end of the song, and it's pretty much a worker's anthem. Now, is it embarrassing that a bunch of people are going out and stealing in 2026 when they got cameras that can read the small stitching on your shirt? Yeah, it's very embarrassing. But I don't think that a lot of people should be bashing Young Miami when I was listening to Old School today. They said some weirder shit in songs back in the day compared to this catchy song of the summer of 2026. And it's been motivating people to really just go get their money. And if you ain't got a spirit of discernment, then of course you're gonna be a dummy and go out there and steal and scam instead of saying, oh shit, this is a worker's anthem, not necessarily motivation to become a criminal. You know what I'm saying?
Right now, Ewok is in the chat room. He said he can't hear. I hope we ain't having problems with our phone again. It shows here that my phone is active, that my devices are connected. So I hope everybody can hear, and I think what Erica just talked about is very important. And the fact that you said that you like India Irie is cool because I just talked about the balance that needs to happen. I think Eric India Irie is very important. I think her message needs to be heard. I think she's, she's an older sister now, but she's come up through this game without objectifying herself. But that's been her mission, right? And I'm glad that she had a strong foundation. I don't know if how much of a workers anthem this is, because I listened to the song. I didn't get the same message that you got from it. You said you felt like it was a workers anthem, but I didn't, but I'm old enough to understand what she's talking about is kind of like a ghetto fantasy. It is kind of like somebody who's just kind of sitting on the porch talking shit and just kind of is whimsical to me, because it's not realistic, because long term your survival chances in being a scammer or a booster are not good. So it's just like a ghetto fantasy. It's just somebody singing out loud, shouting out, and a shout to the underground. It's like me shouting out saying, man, what's up to all the hustlers out there, to all them boys on the street trying to flip a sack, trying to help their family eat. Yeah, that's some bullshit. We hope that ain't what you're doing. But, sometimes we acknowledge that in our community. So, but I think what you said is cool. And I also agree that David is a cool cat. I mean, he's been on the show before. I've known David for a while, since my way back when I was doing community organizing with Safe and Sound. And Dave, he was out there beating the pavement then. So he's been out here in the community for a very long time working. I just think that when it comes to the gubernatorial race, it is decided by northern Wisconsin. The state is 86% white. And I don't think most of the people up north care about what's going on in southeastern Wisconsin. All they care about is that we generate the tax revenue that we do, so that they can maintain, and the prisoners, so that they can maintain their quality of life. So, but definitely shout out to DC, man. And unfortunately, I'm hearing that he's endorsed the white lady who is the lieutenant governor now, Gonzalez. She's married to a Latino. He didn't endorse Mandela. So, and that's what's allegedly. I haven't confirmed that fact, but unfortunately, that's one of the things that we see, where we still strive to try and figure out how to get some solidarity with all of this kind of stuff. So, but shout out to you. I hope you had a good Fourth, Erica.
I did. We also hosted SEIU Wisconsin, had a bunch of our members come together and from all across Wisconsin. We represent 7,000 members of the state of Wisconsin, from Milwaukee to Madison to La Crosse. But we had the 7 Democratic candidates, and our members had a chance to talk to them. And my choice was definitely twisted between Roy is her last name, Hogg, and then of course Carly. But yeah, it's kind of making it hard now that Carly done dropped out, because like, do I want the traditional white girl, or do I want the socialist Asian woman? Which I've been paying attention to her in the community. You see a lot of her signs from here to Madison. Even when we went tubing, we seen a lot of her signs out there a little bit further in the rural communities. But yeah, it's definitely gonna be a hard choice. I just, like any election, I hope that person that actually earns this position, because at the end of the day, this is not just politics. This is a person's employment. This is their job. And I'm real big on, if you go put all this dedication into and efforts into getting this job, then do your job. You know what I'm saying? So whoever wins, I just hope they get in there and do their job. But yeah, it was a great interaction to have all our members get a chance to ask their questions and talk about certain things, and then just the aftermath of being able to have that conversation and have lunch with the candidates. It was really, I thought DC had a great chance, but according to some of the studies that's going on, even when we pulled a poll amongst ourselves, David was not the more favorable candidate amongst our members. So I hate to see him go, but I look forward to his new journey.
He was down in the polls, but he had raised a lot. I mean, fortunately, he was able to raise a lot of money, $700,000, I believe he had raised, and he had led all candidates in the last month. So that's a good sign. I just wish, like I said, that we had more solidarity, and I wish he could have turned and said, listen, because he did say we need to fight Tom Tiffany. He wanted the Democrats to unite, but he didn't really right away. I felt like he should have said, look, vote for Mandela, right? Like I think as black people, this is the kind of spirit we need to start coming with, where it's us against everybody. That's why I'm so big on the delineation movement, and that's why I'm so big on the belief of in foundational Black Americanism. So, um, Ernest said he can hear now. Ace said it's your phone. I don't know how Ace knows that. Um, he says, yes, we do play a pivotal role, but let's face it, there's peer pressure and distractions from kids that come from less fortunate homes. Absolutely. But once again, I think you have to, that's what I was talking about, building that foundation, right? Like I've spoken many a times on, like, when I went to middle school, it was the first time I ever had went outside the Rufus King area, the Rufus King neighborhood area, right? And I've met a lot of kids who didn't have the same kind of platform or foundation that I had at home. You know, my mom and my dad in the home, my dad being a very, very proactive dad in my life. I met a lot of kids who didn't have that and had like an alternative opinion. And yeah, I was influenced by peer pressure, but that foundation held me down until I got off on my own as a teenager, and then as a young adult and got on some other shit. But that foundation also brought me back home. It also brought me back to where I needed to be when it was time for me to get my life right. So that's why I'm saying it's important for parents to at least go in there and talk to their children. Talk to these kids. Talk to your kids and figure out, you should be knowing what they're into. Like if your kids run the street with a bunch of different people, or with a crew of habitual line steppers, you should know. You should know. You should be aware. You should be talking to them about what they're doing, and you need to be able to gauge how your kids are making decisions. That's all I mean. And I'm not trying to be self-righteous about it. I just feel like it's just part of what we need to do. We need to raise our kids. Mama Jenkins in the chat room, she said, good evening, my Outlaw family. Today is a listening day. There's 72 counties in Wisconsin, and you have to be governor to all. Milwaukee is not a voting city when it comes to the governor's race, my opinion. I agree with you, Mama Jenkins. And like I said, this state is 86% white. So once you get outside of southeastern Wisconsin, where 95% of that minority population lives, you ain't looking at people that look like you. And you ain't looking at people who got the same kind of concerns that you have. So I agree with you. I agree with you. I think a lot of black people figure, like, we not really pivotal in determining the governor. So a lot of us probably will sit that election out in the first place. So I definitely agree with you. A said them whoopings held you down, LOL. Them whoopings definitely, ass whoopings certainly had an effect growing up, because we got our ass whooped. It was, my mom was Bruce Lee with a belt. She'd tear your ass up. it was no, and I still used to get in this shit. But one thing my parents never hesitated to do was to talk to me, to sit me down and explain to me, listen, da 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 da. So I knew, and all the crazy wild shit I've ever done in my life, I knew I was doing wrong when I did it because of the way I was raised. I knew I was wrong. I knew I was clowning. And I knew my parents wouldn't approve had they to know some of the shit I was involved in. But that came from them talking to me as a child and taking the time and trying to raise me. I think I got Dion who just jumped on the line with us. Dion, what's popping with you?
Hey man, how you doing? Can you hear me? Can everybody hear me out there?
I can hear you. I hope the people can hear you.
I know Erica she was kind of low though. I'm gonna keep it real with you. But maybe she had her phone turned down. What's happening, man?
Ain't nothing to it, Dion. What's on your mind, brother?
Oh, I can hear it now. But listening to you, Erica, on the other end, you sound low. I guess that's how I sounded last week, but man, they kind of rough, man.
You went out, Dion. You said it's been kind of rough. What?
I said all that young Miami and all that stuff that spin that and what Trick Daddy said, all that shit is above me, yo. I don't know what's going on with that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I seen the situation with the young boy down there in Mississippi. I really was able to know him.
Yeah.
You know, with the white folks, and as per usual, the nigga come up missing. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm so tired of us wanting to assimilate with these Europeans, understanding they don't know us. You know what I'm saying? But I I don't know what it's gonna take for us to get that through our head. You know, I seen Trump over there, and what was that? NATO or he was on some stage. I can't think of it. And he said he just always just talking. All the dude sitting next to him was Putin, called Japan the Republican state. Japan, you know what I'm saying? Ignorant ass, old ass, senile ass, old white. You know, and there's just so much going on, man. You know, it's just hard to, activate some of that shit, you know. And I seen the little brawl that was going down there on radio, but if you go down there on radio, that's what you gonna do, you know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is. Everything's going over my head. I'm gonna reach again and feed my dog.
Okay.
Now, I want to touch in on that Brady situation. You know, like, I like balance in my life. I work hard, so I feel like I should be able to play hard. I love going to the Harley Fest down there. I like going to the Water Street from time to time. I'm still single, so I'm dating. And these are some activities that I do in my free time, right? But it's not like I wake up Monday through Sunday partying. I do have a balance. But when you go down there to Water Street, when you go down there to Brady Street, I don't even know if the calling will still be respectful because I do respect white people, you know what I'm saying? Until they disrespect me or until they give me a reason not to trust them, right? However, I know that we can't trust all white folks, but not all white folks are bad at the same time. But when I've been down there and I've been kicking it, like, these white people will come off. They are drunk out their minds, one. Two, I paid attention and watched like certain situations and kind of intervene in situations where these white boys will damn near say something out beside their next to a black man, and this black man is just like, what you just say, you know what I'm saying? And now you got this big ass brawl getting ready to happen because this white man just said some halfway racist to a lot of the black people down there. And I think that time and time again. And then with the Nolan situation, I don't know if it was a video of what happened in Mississippi, but I just had to, I came across it and I think to myself because, once again, it's a crowd of white people, extra aggressive, extra entitled, extra loud and raw at the same time. And it's creating a chaos and commotion. Anywhere you go, you always got that few groups. Even when I went Cuba, we ran into a couple of groups who was like that, but we just kept it moving. You know what I'm saying? So these white folks, they feeling themselves. And I said that in 2020. I said that in 2024. These white people is allowing Donald Trump to put a battery in their back, and that is baddie terminology or young Miami terminology. They putting a battery in these white folks' racist back, and they get out here in public, and they act a pure fool, and they are enticing folks. Look at the white boy who went to jail for shooting someone. He was going famous and getting all these views on YouTube because he was going out there enticing black people to have a problem. You know, so that's a big issue down there on Brady Street too. Like black folks don't be out there looking for a fight. They walk into a mess around and walk into the wrong bar, and now you got some drunk white boy messing with you because he feel like you shouldn't be in their bar. That'd be crazy on Brady Street.
I think Brady Street is a reflection of the city because the city is so segregated. And we've known for a very long time in this city, if you grew up in this city during the time I grew up, we've known that there are areas and places in the city where we're not welcome, right? And so we've known this. And so now you have young people who are not as fully aware of the history of segregation in Milwaukee. And our young black kids say we going where we want to go. Because traditionally we didn't party on Brady and Water. So you got them down there now, and you're right, Erica. I went to school with I went to historically white college and universities, right? And so when white people get drunk, they tend to get belligerent, and they will pop that off in a minute, especially if you by yourself or is more of them, they will pop some shit. And I don't know how many fights we had, that's just me and my teammates in college, from going somewhere and some drunk white dude, it's like, yo, you gotta get your ass whooped for that now. So, I mean, I would agree with you to a certain extent on that our kids are going down there like, hey man, let's party, let's hang out, let's go to the let's go to the club, and and some drunk belligerent dude. There was just my son and my nephews were popping some fireworks in front of our house on the 4th, and there's this young white couple coming up the street, and obviously they're drunk, right? They're lit. And so I'm sitting there, I'm just kind of watching, making sure everything is everything with my boy and my nephews. And all of a sudden, the young lady comes back without the young man. I don't know, because there's white people in my neighborhood. But she comes back, she reappears, and she's just kind of like talking to my son and my nephews, and they kind of looking at her like, yo, like, why are you here? why are you here with us, right? And so she's like, nobody's gonna talk to me and say something. And it was very awkward. But this is a lot of times what happens. Now we know a lot of young brothers, some brothers will jump right on that and take advantage of that and then get in trouble because they felt the need to try and mess with this white girl. I'm glad my son and my nephews just kind of was like, yo, you got to move around. Like, why are you here? Like, we ain't nobody here for you. But that what Erica talked about is very, very realistic in terms of when white people get drunk, when they get full of that fluid, here we go. Now I don't know what the problem is on Water and Brady. I would think that there's a lot of white college students from UWM and Marquette and MSOE down there, and they partying, and that's the trick. That's been usually their area because we partied everywhere else, and so now there's a everything is closed for the black clubs. You're so limited, so you got black kids saying, "Nah, we're gonna come in these bars," and here we go. The struck matches they call it. I just brought Ruben on the line. I think this is Ruben. Is this Ruben? Okay. Okay. I thought it was Ruben because I know he's in Arizona and he said he would call when he parked his car. So what's on your mind, Ace?
I'm just listening to all this, man, and truthfully speaking, with all of that, man, I'm gonna keep it 100. They way worse than we are. They're very temperamental. They spoil. As far as that goes, as far as your son goes, that's that Karen mentality. Sometimes that's a trap. So you got to be careful with that. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, they looking for a reason to call the police. And we all know what the police gonna bring with that. So we gotta be careful with dealing with them. But they definitely worse than us. Like I said, I've always said they just exploit us. The problems is ours. More so just to have something to put on TV and they extort us. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the criminal justice system, it's easier for them to make a decision. Okay, this is what they do. But man, they're way worse. They're way worse than us. Look at the pedophiles. Look at the rapists. Shit, look at all the fucking the savages, motherfuckers eating people. You know what I'm saying? We don't compare to them people. Not at all. So for them to sit and think that we the worst and say that we the worst. I mean, for people to believe this, in my opinion, that's just crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I think once again, the funny part is my daughter's sitting there with me, and we're just kind of watching, and she was pissed. She's just like, why is she here? She just was like, this is why white people get on my nerves. Like, she's going off about the shit, right? Like, because she's young. She goes out, her and her girlfriends, and she lives in Minneapolis, and she's been around this where you got a lot of drunk white young people, and we know that their behavior changes, man. Like, it becomes, and the girls, the white women usually get involved because they're trying to speak on the behalf of the white guy. Wait, guys, no, no, no. And it's like, yo, get out the way. So it just turns into, I've seen this turn into a very ugly situation a lot of different times. And I've been involved in some of those situations when I was in school. And so, I'm just glad my son and my nephews just kept it pushing. They didn't pay her no attention. And they basically told her, you cool? Like, my son's like, yo, are you all right? Like, why are you here? Like, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because they can't handle their alcohol. You know, which is what brings me to what I said before. I mean, look at that. These two, I think we had 300 live in it over the weekend. Or no, we're talking about the little big young brother that went with his friends down in Mississippi.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then there was another brother that got hung by, he was doing the same thing. He was in Michigan, got hung with his friend. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. And then nobody ever knows what happened, or we get accused of committing suicide. Black folks don't kill themselves. We used to do dealing with stressful situations. That's a white person result. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's just they don't want to investigate because they know what the truth is. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. And at this point in time, at some point in time, I've always said we're gonna have to go on the offense, man. We can't keep letting stuff like this go unanswered.
Well, I know, and when your kids, if you send your kids off to school, because I know when I went to North Dakota, two of my teammates who were from North Dakota told me they came up to me one time on a Friday, but we had like football, those 10 o'clock meetings, whatever. You got a game the next day, and so they after the last meeting before we go to the 10 o'clock meeting, they say, "Yo, come to the house. We want you to come to one of their houses." And when I got there, they had one of my favorite things, which is guns. And so he said, "Yo, let's go out back and where we sight our rifles in when we deer hunt, and let's shoot." And I went. We had a bottle of Black Velvet whiskey, man, and I'm talking about we was hitting bowls, and I went out there with them, and I'm having a whooping good time. I'm shooting like I'm shooting, right? And no telling what could have happened, right? I wasn't even thinking about that. And I think that's how a lot of our youngsters get, they ain't thinking about they go, hey man, I'm out here kicking and I'm straight. These are my teammates. And you don't know what's gonna happen, right? And so sometimes you got to just teach your kids, be aware. You gotta be aware. But it's the same situation that you go somewhere with a bunch of black kids and somebody will drop some shit in your drink. And here we go, right? Like so kids just you gotta be aware when you out and you partying, especially if you drinking or you smoking or whatever it is that you're doing that alters your consciousness. You gotta be aware of your surroundings. You gotta be aware of what's going on around you. Brendan Hughes asked me, did I say
Like we should be hanging out with the white folks. Though. Like I don't care when for me, I think that's what we get us sometimes. Like yeah, all white folks ain't wrong. They say all dogs are white. I say my dog don't have all he got teeth out. You know what I'm saying? That's what they bother me with. You know what I'm saying? Like they put like what's wrong with us saying we don't like them? You know what I'm saying? Like what's wrong with that? I've seen in with Abby Phillips and white people come, they just come off just racist and narcissistic and just saying all type of shit and they sitting there appeasing them and they don't know what. No, we don't like you. We don't want to live with you. We want to be left alone. We don't want to assimilate with you. I don't want you living next door to me. I don't want to invite you to the barbecue. The only reason I tolerate you is because you're like a fly. You're very annoying, and I can't get rid of you. But I don't like you. I mean, kid, you heard me say that. Like when I first had to start working on the south side, I told them all, I want to be around my own guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm fuck you. Because I don't care anymore. I have I have spoke highly and let it be known. And most of them, we're not like that beyond it. But I just rather stay my distance from. And every time we turn around, here we go, bro. There's some more shit going on. They're trying to they tearing down all our high school. Not us, but people that came before us fought for. They just tearing it down. Boom. It's like a building block, one, two, and they just sitting up there just smiling and this and another. But the one thing that I can say have came out of the Trump presidency is one that is showing the true colors of white people, and for two, it's showing the true colors of white people. It's showing that they stupid as a motherfucker. They ain't shit. They don't have these perfect lives. They be trying like, oh, we're white and everything. We still no, it's not. You motherfuckers struggle just like we do, live paycheck to paycheck, just like we do. It might look good on the outside. You're nasty. You don't take baths every day. Your feet is dirty. You're ignorant. You're not as smart. Just like that one. Barack Obama said, he said, you can sit down with some of these top dignitaries and you be like, the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're really and it's showing the true side of them. You know what I'm saying? So the ways mediocre, y'all are not as smart, and y'all are not the people that y'all portray y'all to be. And this racism is going to tear the United States apart. Regardless of how people feel. Regardless of how people feel, it's going to tear the United States apart. And the United States is not going to be what it is. And like I started to share that with Ian when they were talking about Donald Trump was over there. I think it was the summit, the G7 summit. And he was just on this stupid and ignorant. How you don't know that this is not Vladimir Putin, whatever his name is? How you don't know that? How do you call Japan call them the Islamic Republic of Japan? You're making these stupid ass ignorant remarks and stuff like that, and ain't nobody saying nothing. Like they said, Joe Biden said one thing and fell asleep and just seemed like he was fucked up, and the wrong and friendly. You got this ignorant ass uneducated. This man's not educated. Well, where is his college? Like it just be blowing me. You know what I'm saying? All of them. Pete Hegseth, Marco Rubio, the one white bitch, and married to a 61-year-old millionaire. What's her name? I think she's the press secretary, whoever she is. Like when you sit back and they started reading more deeply to their lives, you look like these motherfuckers really they fucked up and they got a point to bury everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit crazy. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna touch that when he's done.
I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, man. But I mean, at the end of the day, truthfully, Trump don't run this country, man. This country we sold off. I mean, shit. Larry Fink run this country. If you don't know that, that's the CEO of BlackRock. I mean, in the same them people up until they control the banking systems, they control the education, they control the military war industry, they control the money, they control everything here. You see what I'm saying? That place might as well be the capital of the United States. So that's just what it is. They're telling him what to do. The president is basically a figurehead to take the blame when they fuck up. So I mean, it is what it is, man. He an idiot. I ain't gonna lie. He ain't no different than Joe Biden was, half-ass retarded and stupid, falling asleep and shit. But at the end of the day, we gonna have to figure out how to do it. And once again, I'm proud of my people just for the litigate. Now these motherfuckers is panicking. You know, look at the Asians, look at the Arabs, look at these Hispanics. These motherfuckers ain't getting our money no more, so they in the paranoia. You know, because we pretty much we the top consumers.
I wanted to touch on. First of all, let me go to the chat room. Brendan said that I see Drewski. Which Drewski skit? Drewski is parroting everything in America. I just seen what he did on Death Row Records. The Joe Jackson joint was funny as hell to me. I'm sorry. The shit just had me laughing. The Death Row one was funny. I mean, Drewski is becoming like just political news comic strip. Like he's parroting everything in America. Like Mad Magazine, right? Yeah, he's becoming that, right? Political satire. Orlando said, "What's going on with Big Tigger?" I was gonna get to Big Tigger in a minute. Give me a second, Orlando. I'm just going through the chat room. He said, "This is Graham Plattner just ended his run for Senate in Maine, the Me Too movement." He says, Orlando says, "Looks like the U.S. military launches second night of strikes." Who are they striking now, Orlando? I'm away from it. He said the ceasefire is over. And he's talking about Judge Dugan here in Wisconsin gets a fine and no jail time. Right. Well, this is white privilege, man. This is white privilege. Like, this is what we talk about. Mama Jenkins said we just got an update on what's going on from Orlando Owens. And he was talking about, Brendan said Joe Jackson. Yes, I seen the Joe Jackson joint. That shit was funny. It was hilarious. And I'm going to tell you, it's not that far off because I'm going to tell you, man, I just told y'all, when I was growing up, in our house, you can get your ass whooped for some pretty minimal things, right? Like my mother just would, not that she was abusive, but discipline was first and foremost. So like shit, like leaving the door unlocked, you got your ass whooped, right? Like you say the wrong thing. We get ready to get out the car at Kmart. My mother's letting you know right then and there. If we get in this store and you start worrying me to the point where I can't even remember why I came, I'm whooping your ass in the store. You know how many times I've gotten kicked, literally kicked in my ass in Kmart, in Target, in Zare, in all these stores. My mother she just didn't play. She had a very short fuse for bullshit, and a lot of our parents were the same. So when I see that Drewski's kid, I say, hey man, it might not be that far from the truth, man. That Joe was, Joe was an ass whooper, man. Apparently, Joe was the one who said, listen. By the time I get off work, y'all better than rehearse them steps because I'm tired of working for goddamn $5 an hour. Shit, it's 9 of y'all. I can't shit. Grocery bills high the motherfucker. So yeah, you better sing. So yeah, but it is funny how Drewski portrayed
You
it.
better sing that shit.
Right. I got the fact checker in the building. Ian, he's here. He's fashionably late, but it is what it is. Like I told y'all, he would be along. What's going on, Ian? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm good, bro. I'm listening to this shit. You funny, dog, because we talked about him last week. It's so true, dude. Like when it comes to these, especially these Midwestern parents, they different, bro. They built different. Like my mom will whoop our ass for letting the screen door hit the door too many times, running up her light bill, all kind of shit, bro. Like you just didn't do it. Yeah, I got my foot in my ass at Zare a few times. I was at Zare trying to get some. Remember they used to have a big old bucket or whatever it was of video games in the front. Ooh, mom,
Hmm.
mom, 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 mom. Shut the fuck up, Ian. So yeah, man, I know what you're talking about. What was Mama Jenkins talking about? Orlando figured out what?
He was just updating on some. He said a ceasefire somewhere. I don't know if this is Iran. Then the United States launched another round of attacks. I haven't seen it yet because I've been on here. Says the U.S. military launches a second night of strikes, and he said
Um,
Graham Platner just ended his run for Senate in Maine. Now Orlando had been on like calling me, so we've conversed over the. Even though I didn't do a show on Monday, he and I have been talking, and we were talking in particular about the gubernatorial race. And I'm not gonna lie, Orlando said to me,
yeah,
he said this to me last week, like, who's gonna drop out, DC or Mandela? And you know, I didn't know. I didn't know which one. I thought maybe it would be DC over Mandela. I think I did say, and Orlando, you can correct me if I'm
yeah, for
wrong.
sure.
I think I did say that it would be DC, but we've seen him drop out now. And what's the current lieutenant governor is now in front. Was it Gonzalez? What's her last name? Lopez. What is her name? She's married
I
to a
forgot.
Hispanic. And then we got the Hmong. Yeah, we got the Hmong lady. She's up, and then Mandela. So Ian, I want to get your take on this gubernatorial election.
Well, I think that Tiffany is going to have a very high chance of winning because Wisconsin is white. I mean, like that, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of white people there, and the right wing they do a very good job. Like for instance, just look at some of the people that called the show. You know, like Chris. You know, Orlando. You know what I'm saying? Jeff, my boy Jeff. You know, they really are sold on this Republican Party. They have their reasons why they like them and why they don't. And
Your
I just
signal,
think
your
that
signal
it's
is fading, Ian.
more
Can't
people in
really hear you. You
Wisconsin.
buzzing in and out. Yeah, Ian, your signal. I don't know what's your signal went out. You got a lot of static going on. I, yeah, you might have to go out and come back in because your signal is fried. This is mom. Let me go to while he's straightening that out. Let me go to Mama Jenkins in the chat room. She said we got ours whooped for leaving too much sugar in our cereal bowl. Sarah Rodriguez. Sarah Rodriguez, that is the name of the current lieutenant governor. She is currently leading everyone according to the polls. For so yeah, you know what, Mama Jenkins, I think the difference is the parents that we were raised by came up. That's how their parents taught them. They got their ass whooped. And I always say ass whoopings are one of the derivatives of one of the side effects. If I can ever agree with Dion on post-traumatic slave syndrome, I always felt like physical ass whoopings came from slavery because the only way that white man figured he could teach a black man anything back in those days was to whoop his ass. And so those people came up getting beat by their masters. And so I think the parents felt like, well, the only way I learned, the way I learned lessons was getting my ass whooped. So they whooped their ass, and as a result of that, our parents whooped our ass. Because I know my my mother would always recall the ass whoopings they got growing up, and she would tell us like some of the stuff they used to get their ass whooped with, wagon lines and pieces of leather and shit like this. And so we got our ass whooped just like them. So they went with what they knew. And I was fortunate enough to have some conversations with my mom before she passed about as a grown up about some of the how we used to get our ass whooped, and she would say I was doing the best that I knew how. I had two sons. I didn't want either one of them to be fuck ups. I didn't want y'all to be soft. I wanted y'all to know how to be a man. And so the way that I was taught to teach that lesson to kids was to whoop their ass. So I whooped y'all ass. And my brother and I would sit there and say, yeah, you sure enough did. So, I wasn't abused. We always had enough to eat. We always had a place to stay. I had most of the shit I asked for. But when I crossed the line, especially after being warned more than once, twice, and then usually after that third time, it's ass whooping coming. So you got to go lay down across the bed while she get that belt and tear your ass up. And that's just how it was. I found that with my children, I didn't really have to do as much physical reprimanding, because I tried very hard to establish a foundation of communication with my children to explain the do's and the don'ts. And for the most part, it worked. Right now, I had to whoop some ass a few times. Don't get me wrong. But I think my wife probably whooped more ass than I did, right? Like my daughter was sucker free. Like she was not getting her ass whooped for nobody. So she was just a beautiful child to raise. Now my son, is a boy. So a little bit different. The boys are a little bit different. Boys, sometimes they get to feeling themselves. And my mom say, you starting to smell your own piss. And to this day, I don't know what that meant. But it was a point where the ass whoopings for me, I remember growing up, her ass whoopings didn't hurt as much no more. So, I would be a little defiant. And there was a point where my son was really trying his boundaries, but I didn't have to beat him because I wasn't about to do that. I didn't feel like that was necessary. But right. That's what I'm finna say. Like people like, did he set that up? Like Erica finna beat somebody ass on the air and shit. But yeah, so I just like to know, man, what y'all think about, because I wanted to get Ian's take on the Young Miami, how Trick Daddy went off on India Irie. I want to get his take on that as well. Yeah, he absolutely went crazy on India Irie. I mean, Trick Daddy went off on old black women, period. Trick Daddy went and said, that's why I don't, F you old black hoes. And he was talking about, yeah, you be all up on social media talking about your 800 credit score and your business and your degrees. And he said, take all that shit and stick it up your ass. Trick Daddy. I don't even have a sound feasible for Trick Daddy. I don't even like the way he went in on. I don't.
Problems though, Cam. I got problems when people generalize because I hate that black women are not all the same and they're not all bad and they don't all want to be a certain way. Like I don't understand these brothers when they do that. They have these platforms and they really do just be saying they like he talking reckless, dog. Like his mom black, right?
I'm guessing. I'm guessing Trick Daddy's mom is black, right? He doesn't look biracial to me.
I don't look biracial to me either. So I'm like, bro, what is the issue? But man, you know what though? But first, that gubernatorial race, I was at my office. My fault. My signal is horrible in there. I'm in the car now. But dog, when it comes to that kind of stuff, man, like I thought DC would drop out too because you actually made a comment that made a whole bunch of sense. I actually said it to like 3 other people, and they were like, yeah, that's right. Because you said that Mandela could be in them rooms. So he got a shot to beat Tiffany, dude, and they can laugh all they want. I think Tiffany eventually will win. But the thing is, though, I'm telling you, KB, Mandela got a shot. You know what I'm saying? He do. And I mean, do I think that Mandela's gonna win? No, I think he's gonna lose the close race. He'll lose by like 1 or 2 points, and that'll be about it. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, he got a good shot, bro. Do you think so or no? You think Mandela got a good shot?
I definitely believe Mandela has a good shot, and right now, especially because I think that when you had DC and you had Mandela, I think what it did was it kind of convoluted the vote for black people. So black people would be feeling like, well, I got to pick a side. I got to pick, we got to vote for another black person. And I felt like it would kind of, dilute the vote. But I definitely think he has a chance. I hope that he invests um, in the black community. Like he needs to really come and he needs to come down to Milwaukee and he needs to campaign in the black community very hard. I think that he really does. I think he needs to, like when he lost to the last election that he lost, I felt like he neglected us. I felt like he kind of played himself without really trying to get black people polarized. And so I feel like if he does that, then I think he has a really good chance. I think he has a really good chance. So, that's my take on that.
Yeah, Tiffany, what is he known for the past 2 weeks? The biggest thing that happened was the Juneteenth stuff, right? Where he went out of his way to just let it be known that it's not a fucking holiday or whatever the fuck he was talking about. Like,
yes, he was very anti Juneteenth. He was.
Why? There's no reason for it other than what? Racism. They dog whistle racism, and this is the problem I have specifically with brothers that look like us that just don't understand. They say they free thinkers, but they don't really understand or grasp why we don't like that side of the aisle that much. And you can go through a laundry list of things. It don't matter. Like you and me, I think we both kind of been on the same page. Where, excuse my language, for lack of a better way to say it, this shit is tiring, bro. It is. You got niggas that don't think. You said what?
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was like, man, you got niggas that it doesn't matter what Trump does. He can go to the Smithsonian and do what he does. He can remove, and I have 3 black friends that got removed from the FBI because they're black. Like, it don't matter what you tell these niggas, they still gonna support him. So I'm just gonna follow your lead with that and just talk about it far less. Because and I've said this before, man, if a politician is not speaking to you on how to better your situation financially through real estate acquisition, or if you're interested in business, to start a business, or economics in general, they try to get you with this social shit. And the Republicans, the Republicans freed the slaves, like all their dumbass talking points that they have, or the Democrats, okay. And you saw that naked man walking around New York? Yeah, that's liberalism. Dude, I get so tired of these dumb motherfuckers now, bro. So I just listen to them and let them talk and let them be like, a lot of these MAGA people, especially the black ones, they love to be real fucking argumentative and combative. When they won't bust a grape in a fruit fight, they won't do shit. So I'm just gonna take a page out of your book, homie, and just chill and watch.
So, but now let me ask you a question. What do you think about DC not endorsing Mandela, but turning and now from what I heard, he's endorsed Gonzalez or Rodriguez, whatever, Sarah Rodriguez. What do you think about a black man not endorsing another brother in something this important?
I think he's a cornball. You know what I mean? For that, I'm not saying a complete cornball, but he clearly has no faith in Mandela Barnes. I don't know why he wouldn't. I mean, look at who we have for the president of the United States. If this motherfucker that just called Japan the United Islamic State of Japan and called Zelensky Putin on national television, I think that fucking Mandela Barnes can run Wisconsin, especially since he's been lieutenant governor.
Okay.
Not to endorse him, bro. I'm not gonna call him a sellout or nothing because I think that's too harsh. But but maybe he just don't have faith in his ability. You know what I'm saying? That's
Well,
what it is.
I think it goes to show you that that's why I don't do partisan politics, because it places a premium on party over people, and you kind of do us a disservice by becoming more loyal to a political party than you do to our people. Now, I wanted y'all to hear this, and I wanted y'all to see this, so I wanted to play this. Y'all check this out. I just want y'all to hear some of what Trick Daddy said. That's not the whole thing. Um, but it was kind of the gist. Now let me go to my chat room because I just brought another caller in. Let me see. Mama Jenkins says my parents whooped us to make us better people. And she said it was part of us our not being disrespectful and obedient. We were also told that she was whipping us because she loved us and wanted us to be good children. I agree with that, Mama Jenkins. They did it because they thought it would make us better people. Um, let me see. Erica said, I wanted Ian to be careful sharing that narrative that Tiff got a strong chance to win because he's a super DT groupie. And Dion said, Kev, we still on the phone. I know you are, Dion. Why are you telling me that? I know you are. I still know you was. Um, Erica Hunt says, I think it's a numbers game. And she said, y'all need to clear the lines. We need to why do we need to clear the lines, Erica? Why do we need to clear them? She says she can't hear nothing. Okay, unfortunately, and that's unfortunate. Well, if you can't hear, feel free to drop off, y'all. Drop off the line. I did just bring Orlando into the conversation, and I had somebody before that. I don't know quite who it was. It was a 262 number. So first, let me get who is this? The 262 number. That's 262. Let me see. Let me see. It's a 262 number. 262-278. It ain't Ian's. It was somebody. It might have been Ian. But Orlando, you on the line? What's going on, man?
What's going on, Kev? So I could hear the broadcast. What I couldn't hear good was your guest.
Okay.
So I can hear you good. I can hear good. Well, I can hear the. I could hear Dion fairly well, but he had other technical issues. What the value? The other people, the value, the other brother who you had on the line, his volume was low.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what the phone. The phone is the phone. I don't know. Sometimes
Right.
people try to come on. People try to come on with me on speaker. They try to come on headsets. They're all different kind of shit. So I don't, I don't always know what's going on.
We got some storms going in Milwaukee, but no, man, I am definitely intrigued by this gubernatorial, race for coming up because I did call it, but I don't call it from the standpoint of I understand why. I don't know why was there a disconnect for David, given that he's already in a very, very high profile position. He is young, he can run again. And then when it first broke, you and I talked about him not endorsing anybody, which was like that. So he's going to try to stay out of this thing and just let the primary play out. But if Mandela had a chance, he needs David's support now because he's not the leading person in the primary right now. The folks say you got the white woman, and you got the young lady. And the question for me is, you and I talked about it, is like, will black Democrats say, well, it's cool that, David Crowley stepped out and, we don't like it because why can't it be the year of the black candidate winning versus the women who are coming out of Madison? So I said that's where things have to be squared. Again, I'm giving it a political pundit strategy standpoint. We can talk about Republicans, that's fair. But I think the big news is on the Democratic side right now. Like, David Crowley steps out. David Crowley initially doesn't endorse. David Crowley then endorses Sarah Rodriguez, who's the former lieutenant governor or the current lieutenant governor. And the question is, who's pulling the strings? What's going to happen tomorrow? This press conference, I guess, is going to have when it becomes official, because JL's online is reporting it. You got a couple black papers and a couple other sources saying that he will be endorsing tomorrow. So I'll just, inquiring minds want to know what's really going on. That is David and Mandela on odds? They think they really don't like it ever like that? I'm just asking the question, Brother Kev.
And that's fine. I think that would be a question that would be best answered by David himself. Like, I'm not even going to try to answer it for him. I will say this. Me personally, I feel like there's a need for anytime and I'm talking about foundational black Americans, are in a situation where we're running for office and I decide I'm not going to continue on, it's important for me to endorse the other black candidate unless that individual and I have had some serious personal issues. And if I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't like this cat, right? And I don't know that that's the story. I don't want to assume, but I feel like it would be very important. And in the eyes of us, as people who are just kind of sitting around watching this all play out, it encourages more solidarity at the base for us to say, yo, forget these political parties and forget all this partisan politics. It's about our people. This is an important situation for our people to circle the wagons. So I don't know if he has been advised or if it's been his own personal kind of thing to say, I'm not going to just endorse him. I don't know what their relationship is, but I definitely think it is very important for him to endorse Mandela. I do. And I think we as black people in Milwaukee need to get behind Mandela and vote for him. It would be a great day to see a black man sitting in Madison, especially a black man from Milwaukee who knows how for so long the city of Madison has raped the city of Milwaukee, right? Like this whole city is sucking on the titty of Milwaukee. I mean, this whole state is sucking on the titty of Milwaukee. We generate all the bread for this state. The majority of the tax revenue is generated by the city of Milwaukee. Damn near everything that's major in this state comes through this city off this lake. So it's time that Madison starts to treat Milwaukee the way it should be treated. We are the big brothers. We the big homies. We shouldn't be sunned or sidelined. And that's always been my issue with politics in the state, is that I feel like Madison has never really respected the city of Milwaukee and given it its just due. So I feel like to put a black man from Milwaukee in there would be an important step in the evolution of this state, because believe it or not, a state that's 86% white, that is a battleground state, needs some evolution. This is 2026. Wisconsin needs to evolve from what it's been in the past, because we ain't leading with cheese and milk and beer no more. Those days are gone. So this state needs to take a step forward. And in order to do that, we got to get people in power who look like us, even though we only represent 8 to 12% of this state, and 90% of that is in southeastern Wisconsin. Once again, this state is 86% white. So a lot of us brothers look at this gubernatorial election as no brother really ever has a chance to be the governor in the state of 86% white people, because once you leave southeastern Wisconsin, you're in Whitey's world. So it's a very difficult climb. So, I feel like anytime we still got Mandela left, he's been the lieutenant governor. I feel like it would be the right thing for David to turn around and say, yo, everybody support Mandela. I think, and had it been the other way around, say Mandela had dropped out, I think it would have been important for Mandela to say, yo, I'm putting my weight behind David. Like, That's what we call solidarity, man. That is what we call solidarity. That is what they do. That's what they do, right? We should be more worried we should be very concerned with how we move as a people. And Trump has showed us this. This is one thing Trump has showed us. White people stick together even when there's some bullshit in the air. Because you know, white people as you see a lot of white people like celebrities who are critical of Obama. But the everyday working man, everyday working white man, a lot of them love Obama. I mean, love Trump. I said Obama. I'm sorry, y'all. They love Trump. They love Trump. They love Trump. So white people stick together. They when they even on some bullshit. That's how they was able to have slavery and Jim Crow laws and all this kind of shit. They stuck together. We got to do the same thing that they do. We got to stick and stand with each other and make a statement with our money, with our votes, with everything that we do. It's got to be black about black being black. What's that song off CB4? I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. Everything that we do moving forward needs to be formulated from our common identity as foundational black Americans.
You know what, though, kid, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm probably gonna vote for Mandela. I ain't gonna lie. 'Cause the reason I feel like that, though, now don't get me wrong, you know, I listen to other people and, you know, I guess that kind of sways my way a little bit. But he was a lieutenant governor already, and you had your eye on a bigger prize, knowing that you weren't gonna win that prize. You feel what I'm saying? And then, you know, like I listened to another network, as you know, and basically neither one of them, even with Crowley, is no agenda for black people. It's all about this socialist liberal movement. You feel what I'm saying? People that don't look like you and I, you know, they really don't. And you know, when I look at liberals and progressives, you know, they really don't have all that interest. They have the gay agenda, animal rights, just bullshit that ain't got nothing to do with our everyday survival. You feel what I'm saying? And you already know federal government ain't got anything that had anything to do with minorities. Even look at the Supreme Court when they just the Wisconsin Supreme Court, that's a liberal, and we have a couple of them in there. Voted against they help minority people who go to school. They don't even know much of a vote on to do it. They was about maybe $2,500 to $5,000 wrong. They said that was illegal when it was against, you know, the white people and shit. You know what I'm saying? So,
But you identify as a Democrat. You stated many times that you're a Democrat.
I probably will vote for Francesca. I probably will vote for her. You know
Okay.
But as far as like Mandela, like I don't even think he really relates sometimes. So, you know, you see the more awkward ass, goofy ass commercials, you know what I'm saying? And then basically, like you said, and I agree with you on that. Wisconsin doesn't have a big enough minority state in order for we only got Milwaukee, like saying, you know, to Southwest and anybody. It's a few of us, but it's not enough to sway the state. The state ain't only got a population of 5 million people. You know what I'm saying? And just like you were saying, so like I said, I looked to Minnesota for the for it. I didn't go to Mississippi because I felt like I didn't want to go down there at this time like around. And then I'm like, damn, I starved all the way from Minnesota damn near till I got to somewhere where I used to be a truck driver to go get me something to eat because it ain't a quick trip. And I was like, damn, if I was coming from Mississippi, I would have been getting full like a motherfucker, stopping little turkey legs and gizzards and all types of shit all the way back home. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely agree with you on that. And another thing, I think I might be losing my love for Milwaukee, man, because I feel like we outdated and we outdated and we're not up to par with what's going on with the rest of the country. We were down in South Carolina. Wilmington, Charleston, South Carolina, small state, small southern city. It got plenty places, restaurants, stuff to eat. Milwaukee, we ain't got that many restaurants. And if you don't catch me around 7:30 to 8 at night, your ass will shit out of luck because you're not going to eat nothing because then we just got JJ, No. Okay, no, let me put this. I'm question again is, so we're going to pass on a black man, because I like to vote for Mandela. Senegal, he was a state representative. What does he not have that the others have? That you know, too ambitious. He tried to run against leader. He didn't. He never passed any type of when he was in the legislature. He didn't pass any type of law or any type of thing. Then he made it. Then he made it to the Senate governor. He didn't want to. He had his eye bigger on. You know what I'm saying? Like certain times, that's not like looking Chevy. Since you asked the question, still he sat there, stayed on the common council, and the baton was passed. Sometimes you gotta wait your turn. Mandela was too anxious, but he got people in his ear though. You feel what I'm saying? It's not him. He got people in his ear. He got that Chris Avery money, that Chris Lawson, and you know what I'm saying? He got people behind him that's pushing him. You feel what I'm saying?
Well, no, hold on, Dion. Hold on, Dion. Hold on. DC, hold on, Dion. Wait. DC had the Chris Abley money. Mandela didn't have Chris Abley money.
Okay, well, I think he got Lawson, whatever his name is.
Okay.
Applying for every time a position comes at your job, position, and you might get the time pass people every time something comes, you just apply. Then you bid it, then you apply. You know, that's him. You know what I'm saying? Like he's just too much. You know what I'm saying?
So you don't want to vote for another black man because his aspirations are high, because he believes he can do more, and that he's qualified to move up. Like that don't make sense, Dion. You don't sound real pro black with that statement. Well, of course it makes sense. You said the shit, so I'm sure it makes sense.
I'm having trouble hearing him.
And I kind of feel what they saying though. You feel what I'm
I
saying?
guess if that's your influence, I don't know.
I listen to Michelle faithfully every morning. He was running for Senate. He never came to their show. He never went and talked to the people, to us. You feel what I'm saying? And then I think when he came to 107.7, 101.7 The Truth, he came there and gone in the blink of an eye. He had stuff scripted. It was like it was already pre-recorded. I think it was scripted, but I think it was.
Wait, so we not helping black men get elected because they didn't go on WNOV? Come on, man. Come on, man. Like that.
I'm trying to follow it. I'm just trying to follow the thought process, because I'm just taking a, you know, as far as I guess like a bird's eye view of this. So we're not going to support Mandela, who would, if you got to pick Mandela or Tom, I think obviously, I think that choice is obvious, but let's just play, I guess, devil's advocate. I don't like this about him. I don't like this about Mandela. I don't like this. I don't like all of these things, right? What benefit then is it to help Tom Tiffany get elected? You know what I mean? I'm just trying to piece that together, because I'm not understanding why we're not going to support Mandela.
Well, I mean, according to what Dion is saying is,
I can't hear him, by the way.
Okay, I don't know what's going on with the phone, y'all. So sometimes
sure.
the shit works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. I hope I try to do what I could, but it's whatever.
Hey, it is what it is, KB.
So my point is, Dion's basically saying he's listened to some alternate opinions, and I guess on 860 they weighed a lot of things why they don't want Mandela. But so my thing is, you have Rodriguez, who is the wife of a Latino, who is the lieutenant governor now, and you have the Hmong lady, Hong, who is basically what radical socialist, whatever this new wave is.
Yeah.
And then you have Tom Tiffany, who's a Trumper. And then you have Mandela, who's a black man who you say he's too ambitious because he's run for different offices. So I'm not going to vote for him. And he didn't come on 860. He didn't come on 860 to talk with them. So then that means, let's vote. Let's not support each other as black people. Like let's support a white Trumper or a Hmong lady or a white lady who also, and none of those individuals, by the way, have a black agenda either. Right. And I would think that's very valid. That's a very valid point that if you don't have a black agenda, but I've said this many times, we shouldn't follow any politician that doesn't have a black agenda. I don't care what color he is, he,
not
she,
at all.
party, whatever. So maybe somebody needs to put the screws to him and say, yo, if we put you in medicine, what's your agenda for black folks? Maybe, and I think that's a pretty good question. And if he then says
it's a valid question.
it's a very valid question. And if he turns and says, well, how do you know until you ask the question? I'm talking about Mandela. I'm talking about Mandela. How do you know until you ask him the question? And how is Mandela? How's he pandering to white people?
You don't remember seeing his last commercial? He's like, my dad worked there and shit, but I was eating peanut butter every day and drinking milk. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't that long ago. I know when you should have known.
How is that pandering to white people? That don't sound like pandering to white people to me. Hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. I got too many people on the line. If you don't have a comment and you in the chat room, please just hang up. If you want to call back, you are welcome to do so. I want to make sure the people that's in the chat, that's on the line, they got something to say, I heard. And so right now we got too many people in there, so it's not letting me merge. Who's up? Orlando, did you have a question? Oh man. Technology, boy.
I'm trying to find Mandela's last commercial. I think Dion mentioned. I could barely hear him, but I'm trying to. I think he mentioned something about his commercial. So I'm trying to find the last commercial.
That wasn't. That was the one that he had when he was running against your boy. When he was running for Senate. When the one that everybody laughs at when he say, "My mom was a teacher and my daddy worked third shift."
Hey, I was gonna say though,
is that Erica talking to the kids?
Run for fucking. Oh no. DC should run for fucking mayor, bro.
All right, let me clear this line. I'm gonna clear this line because it's freezing up because there's too many people on, and then I'll have Orlando and Dion call back. I hope y'all can hear me. So let me clear the line right quick. We'll do it like
this. He needs to run for mayor.
Let me go ahead and clear this off now because there's too many people on there. Mama Jenkins in the chat room says Kev 100 when I was talking about black solidarity. Yeah. Erica she says Wisconsin has always been an industrial city. I think you mean state, and there's a lot of labor to take advantage of here because Milwaukee will get up and go to work even if people got to get a job every 90 days. Okay. She said, I think Hung is going to win because she is a socialist. And the socialists in New York have been making major changes that the people of the city need. The American people are looking for an alternative methods, and socialists are producing them. Okay. Well, Mama Jenkins says there's a socialist that I heard running against Gwen Moore. Well, it's a lot of them coming along. Kerry Walker Jones said Dion dropped his phone in some water or something. Y'all, I don't know what's up with the sound on the phone. So if it's not coming through clear, I apologize. I don't know what's going on. I've never had any problems with it before, so I don't know what's going on. Erica said, yes, it's hard to hear him and follow the conversation. Kerry Walker said, with everything that's going on, it's stupid to vote for anything Asian, Hispanic, or white. They are not for us. Black solidarity. Okay, there we go.
Don't you want some representation, though?
She said, not fair. Dion was just ranting for 15 minutes. What's not fair?
That's a good
What's not fair? I just cleared the line. What's not fair? Like I said, y'all welcome to call in. We can still try to connect. I don't know if people are having problems hearing the callers. That's nothing I can really do about it. I don't have that much control over the calls. All I can do is if they register on my board and I take them, then that's all I can really do. Let me see in the chat room. There's more comments. Come on. So this is Orlando. So I hope we can hear Orlando. Orlando, okay, go ahead.
I'm going to get off speaker. Can you hear me now, Ted?
I can hear you.
And I can hear you as well, too. So I'm back so I can hear everybody.
Okay, what's on your mind?
Oh, just, picking up on where we left off on, kind of the questions that you're having, as far as Dion as a voter, And, the question of how, and there's some who say that Mandela's not qualified. He ain't got the accomplishments. I'm like, wait a minute, man. I may not be a Democrat, but I know I know anti-black when I hear it from black people. Black people saying this stuff. Now I don't know if it's gonna resonate with brothers on the block to say, well, the reason why David did this because I don't know. I think Dave, and I like Dave. I like David a lot. We don't always agree on a lot of politics, but I like Dave as a dude. And he probably know that we jam down, and he's a cool brother. That we take our politics, and even in politics, we can agree on some issues like we need to address. So I'm not sure why he dropped out, or I'm not even sure why he wasn't resonating in this season. There is the Democratic Party moving so far left that they don't want I don't want to call him a centrist, but left of center candidate who's maybe more mainstream Democrat, but not a DSA-er, Democrat socialist. He may not be as progressive as some, but is that where the Democrat Party is going to? Will that move lose black people? They can say, well, we don't really need a black vote. Well, the hell you say you don't. You need to have. Now, what Mandela may be saying is that he lost to a person that I know very close, about $12 a vote. And maybe he believes that he needs to stay in because he has the best chance to win. The question that I was saying then is, since now David is out, are the Milwaukee black Democrats cool with what happened? Are they cool? Are they cool with it?
Well, so here's the gist of that. According to Dion has said on his show many times he is a Democrat, and I know that those panels over there on 860 they represent the Democratic Party as well, right? Yeah, and so Dion's saying they put out some counterpoints against his candidacy, right? And then, so the answer to your question would be, black Democrats here, I guess, apparently are not all in for Mandela.
No.
Right? So if you got people who claim Democrat and he's saying he's going under what they say, which is, and shout out to them, they got a platform, a pretty big platform. But I can tell you this, the way I met Mandela Barnes years and years ago, probably 2013, when he ran against Lena Taylor. See, I've always, and I was very cool with Lena. Shout out to Lena. Anytime I ever asked Lena to come on, even when I just first started this whole podcasting thing, Lena was there. So shout out to Lena. And she's been on my show many times. And I always respected Lena's position as a leader in the city. But when Mandela decided to run against her, of course, we knew that was a ploy by the Democratic Party to kind of alienate her for whatever reason. They got pissed off with her. Yeah. The black press in Milwaukee was very, very dismissive of Mandela. When he tried to go on WNOV, they shitted on him. And that's probably why right now he's like, yo, I don't want to deal with them because when I first started off, the way they treated me, right?
Yeah.
And so the only real open, free voice, and I would ask him to his face, and I think he would have to admit it, the only real voice he had was Outlaw Radio, and it was 3041 Live. So I have pictures right now of him, myself and Keith Terry and my brother and T. Brad did the whole show, my whole panel that I had then. Mandela came down and spoke to us more than a couple times. He came down and spoke to us. So I can see why Mandela would avoid 860. I could see why he would say, I'm not going over there because it's like, it was something that was positive for me in the past. Especially like I remember him going on there, they wouldn't even let the man talk simply because he was running against Lena Taylor, right? And so it was like, yo, okay, well, let the election be the election, and let the man talk. You know what I'm saying? So I could see why he would say I'm not going over there because they didn't treat him real well. And Erica said I hung up on her. I hung up on everybody because the line was overcrowded and my phone was freezing. Hey, I had to keep the line, Erica, so it wasn't about me just hanging up on you.
Hey, KB, I'm looking right now. I just did a comparative search with Hong, and I did a search with Tiffany. So this is interesting. It basically is even for this. This is the as far as the head-to-head polling with data collected from Instagram, the Hill, just what people think, just who they think is going to win. And they just did a search of matchups. A recent Wedgwood public poll conducted from July 2nd to the 4th, it shows Francesca Hong leading Tom Tiffany 47% to 44%. And that's a reversal from the same poll that was taken back in March. So that would make sense why I'm not advocating it. I'm just saying that it would make sense. Maybe DC just thinks she's going to win, and that's why. But it shows that Mandela Barnes, he looks like it's similar. It's looking like hers is 40 or his is 43% to 40 over Tiffany. But I don't really buy that. It's just because I've watched gubernatorial races ran in Wisconsin, and I've been a part of a couple, and I see how the Republicans, in regard to when they are running on a campaign that they might be able to win, they do a very good job at messaging. Now, Trump has a 57% disapproval rating in Wisconsin, right? So that's going to be hard. But if Tiffany can translate to the voters to where he's more personable, then that might not drag him down. But it's going to be hard, bro. That election does look 50-50. We've been talking about it on this show for a few months now, like, just kind of looking, just searching just to see. And yeah, man, it looks like it's really close. Either one of them can win is my point. Hong can win. She's leading. She looks a little bit better than Mandela. But who would you rather have, Mandela or Hong? For me, it would be Mandela. You know what I mean? But, it is what it is. We'll see, man. This is very interesting. This is interesting, to be honest.
Okay, let me go to the chat room. Erica says, first off, y'all got to remember we are in the prime of racism right now. And if anyone black or white running for office openly says they have a black agenda, they're going to lose any chance they may have with white voters. Okay.
I agree.
Now, I did just bring in somebody from Arizona. I'm going to keep the line fair this time. So if you calling in, you got to wait till, I want people to come in and say what they got to say, and then we just kind of hang up. I don't want to keep everybody on the line because it prevents me from having callers steadily coming in, and then people say, you hung up on me. So I just had, was this Ace in Arizona? I know I still got Orlando. I thought I did bring in another call from Arizona. I don't know who it is. They're not responding. Somebody on the line from Arizona. Somebody on the line from Arizona that called in that I added to the show. All right, phone lines open. We just got Orlando on here. So if you got something to say, you can call in right now. A says, is WNOV Homer Blownim? No, Homer's no longer part of WNOV. He's actually on the Truth now.
Really?
Yeah, he's been on there for a second. Yeah.
Oh,
Brendan Peterson said white northern Wisconsin isn't showing their support like they have in other elections. Support for who? For DC?
They don't like Trump, KB. They don't like Trump. I've fact checked that through multiple sources. It's a lot of Wisconsinites that don't like him. Because of a lot of the things that he's been engaged in regard to prices and I think the war is something that a lot of people just have issues with. So
she says, I hope that means they're saying F Trump, F Republicans. Yeah, we hope. I mean, and that's the one thing that I'd like to see right now, and this is me speaking as a black man. I like to see Republicans go play. Like, I need for them to go on by themselves and like go in the corner, turn around and face the corner for the next few years, right? And get your mind right. Like America, as far as America goes, Republicans and the election of Republicans and the way that they've blindly supported Trump's bullshit, to me, has bought them a timeout. This country is in shitty conditions, and a lot of it is because of their leadership, right? And I'm not, once again, I think the Democrats are one and the same, because if you look at the way right now that they're playing this game with two brothers running for governor, right? Like, why I believe that David is being advised by the Democratic Party to not support Mandela. Right?
Dumb shit.
I believe
dumb
so.
Shit.
Well, I put people over party. That's just me, though. But most black people vote with their heart. Black people vote with emotion. A lot of us are nonpartisan when it really comes down to it. There aren't a lot of us who are card-carrying members of either party. We vote with how we feel a lot of times. And so that's why it's so important for us to have black candidates in races. All right, and I know a lot of people want to discount. Well, there ain't enough black people in the state. Tom Evers right now is governor because Milwaukee County, the votes that from Milwaukee County turned the tide on Skippy Walker and got his ass up out of there.
He got all of them. Evers got
So,
all of them. Yeah, exactly.
so
You are absolutely right. People be, I don't know, KB. I just, when it comes to this version of the Republican Party, anyone, and it could be my mother, anyone that would try to justify or support this party, you're not to be taken seriously. If you say, you know what, I'm a Republican, but I don't like A, B, C, and D, and I have an issue with Trump being on the Epstein list and these things, I can have respect for you. But if you're just, when people say something and, get all these immigrants out of here, Obama did it, like, dude, you need these people for the economy. It's so many different other reasons. That's how come I say the average the average Trump supporter, like wild Trump supporter, they don't understand how government actually works. They don't understand economics and they don't understand business. They actually don't. They vote, like you said, with the emotion and the heart, and yeah, he's gonna fuck the trannies and all this kind of nonsensical way of thinking, dude. It's so bad. Yes, they deserve a timeout, KB, and I think they're going to get one. This is really disintegrating right before our eyes. Like I said, this guy is on television. They used to make fun of Biden for his gaffes, and this guy called fucking Zelensky Putin, and they're like, "Oh, y'all just looking for little things." They tried to blame President Obama for the reflecting pool fiasco, all of these different things. And I got blocked by Gregory Johns, who was Jay Weber's producer, or is still, with his podcast. And I put his video up. I got him when he said that the jobs numbers were up. I went and found the Yahoo article where it wasn't. It made it real. It got thousands of views. And I did the same thing with the reflecting pool. They literally tried to blame Obama. This is where the Republicans were pushing this narrative, not just him. It was a whole bunch. Yeah, this, and he spent $30 million and he did all these things and the pool is messed up, instead of just saying that Trump gave a no bid contract to an unqualified vendor. That's all he did. He made a mistake. But they're like, oh, y'all just focusing on the pool. But y'all were focusing on the pool being so good and so great. They're good at reflecting. They have their stooges in place. They're idiots on both sides of the aisle. You know, you got these field organizers. You got these people who are paid by the party. So you can't take any of these people serious. They're paid by the party. You got Republican representatives. What is somebody that's represented by the Republican Party? They're going to support the Republicans. You have a Democrat representative. What are they going to do? They're going to praise the Democrats. This shit is stupid, dude. That's why I keep saying Outlaw Radio is so important. Yeah, these people are they're doing it for money, Kevin, and everybody listening. People that represent these parties are doing it for money. They're telling you things that they know are false. They know Trump's doing a bad job. They're going to keep saying it because they're getting paid. They're getting six figures at the highest level. These field organizers, these people from AFP, they don't give a fuck about us. So when Kevin, who just said that maybe we need to support the brother that's running, opposed to just saying, oh, he doesn't check every one of our boxes, so we're going to say fuck him and vote for Hong and have no representation, right? Stupidity, man. That's all. Yeah.
All right. Hold on now. Orlando got something to say, but I want to go to my chat room. Ace, hold on a second. Give me a second, caller. Ace Cooley says the Democrats is always playing games. Nothing is ever what it seems.
No, not
he
at
said,
all.
I want a black person that can't be bought off and stands on business. Erica said, I don't get how y'all keep saying that the majority of Wisconsin voters don't mess with Trump, but yet somehow Trump's groupie Tiffany has a chance of winning. That doesn't sound right. Well, I didn't say that the majority. That was Brenda, who's. I'm sorry, I'm getting interrupted by my caller here. Yeah, give me a second, caller. I'm trying to read the chat room. Okay. So she's once again, I said that even though Trump might not be the most popular person right now, white people stick together on their bullshit.
Yes.
So I said that. So
you're right.
So that's what I said. Hold on, let me mute this line because I'm. So I said, so it's still plausible that even though white people in northern Wisconsin don't support Trump like they did, there is still some hardcore Trump supporters up there. But more importantly, white people are gonna stick with white people. They've shown us that. That's how they've been able to do all of the crazy things they've done over the years is because they support each other on their bullshit. So that's why I said
Yes.
that. Now this is Ace Cooley. He says they've decided they're going with the Hispanic community. They are done with the black community. They will use your vote, but it's their classic bait and switch. He's talking about the Democrats.
Look at Jasmine
Um,
Crockett.
Kerry Walker Jones said this has got to be the most senile, dumbass president in history. We could not have possibly have passed
Yeah.
a competency test. Okay, so I got a caller from with a Texas area code. Is this Ruben?
Okay, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm all right, man. I was on the road, man. I just took me in, just making my preparations, man, to get back home finally.
Okay, so what's on your? I know. We had a 30% decline in homicides in the first half of the year here in Milwaukee, as well as some other crimes. Crime is down. So I don't know. I don't know if any agencies or any legislation that's been passed up here can take credit for that. Matter of fact, shout out to the people of Milwaukee for
Yes.
this decline. I'm not going to even
That's
give it to no
impressive.
politician, but I'd like to know what you thought about this.
Well, I haven't seen a decline. It, you know, on paper, I wouldn't believe it. I mean, you're looking at it every day. 9-year-old gone, another young girl gone, another young brother gone. You know, and prior to that, the first half of the year, come on, man, we still getting worked. So I don't believe anything that they say. I'm not trusting those numbers. I'm just looking at what's before me. Which is one of the reasons why I'm coming back home. You know, I'm not saying I'm the savior of Milwaukee or Black Moses because I'm not. My name is Rufus. But I believe that I possess the courage and the wisdom and the spiritual, I should say, faith to lead our people to something better. And so that's what I plan to do. I don't believe in it today. And I wish that other people start taking it serious because it's just a bunch of garbage, man. Let's look at the situation over here on the south side. The white girl, 42, shot in the alley or left in the alley. They're going to feel that cry. They're going to make sure they get on that because that's white. But we still got Taylor Sanders still out there who haven't had justice for her murder. And her murderer is sitting right there with the police because he worked for them. They're not going to do anything about that. And a number of other black crimes that they're not going to try to solve. Yeah, for me, man, I just don't trust them. I don't have enough faith in them to say that, you know, any of these numbers could be right. I have not heard the mayor get on to announce anything. I've not heard the chief of police come forward and say, you know, we was wrong. I've not talked to one family this week or last week whom the police have killed their family member have ever called and said to them, you know, we're sorry. You have our deepest apology. We're doing the investigation. No, they are just been pushed in the back. So I don't trust anything that they say. You know, Milwaukee is in a crisis, man. This is critical, the situation. And you know, and I hear you guys talking about, and I won't talk as long, but I hear you guys talking about elections. You know, I wouldn't vote for none of them, to be honest with you. I see David getting ready to get up out of there, which is cool, because you broke your oath in the beginning. I've been knowing that man for a long time. You don't need to be there. I would waste my time because if they don't hear our voices, why should we give them our vote? I heard somebody say they're switching over to this Hispanic. Yeah, you go through that. Because you know you got those regular Negroes who gonna come out and support you because they looking for a savior. But you know, I don't see it, man. You know, I just don't see it. I don't see anything good. My first point of business is going to the police and fire police commission when I get there. And then making sure that I attend a lot of these common council meetings for which I'm going to give me a nice place, be there for a minute, and now I'm trying to say, boy, I'm going to get one of those seats. I can't even say try anymore because I know that God's prepared me to do it. I just don't trust them, bro. We got too much going on. You know, my phone is inundated with people just calling, you know, every night, all night, you know, families, man, what we gonna do? You know, we ain't gonna trust them. We got to do it together. And I think it's gonna take, you know, your voice, Brother Eva's voice there, and other people that are out there to make the difference because they're not coming to help us. The church is not coming to save us. Nobody is coming to do anything without dollars in their pocket. And so it's gonna take people like us to get out there and put in work.
Okay. So, but and so in terms of solidarity, as far as Black people go, I thought that it would be it's very important to me. Now, like once again, I happen to know David. He's been on my show. We've had some conversations off air. Always been a cool cat as far as I know. Um, but I thought that it was a missed opportunity, and it will be a missed opportunity if he doesn't come out and endorse Mandela, because at the end of the day, I believe in people over party. And I think any chance we get to show solidarity, because like I said, we know these white folks are gonna stick together, right? they're gonna be they're gonna be they're gonna be they're gonna be complicit. So I think
Yeah.
it's very important for us to start showing that same kind of spirit. So I think it would, as my mother would say, it would behoove David to endorse Mandela. Now I don't know if these brothers got a personal relationship or if they got a personal vendetta. I know that each one of them, as Democrats, are advised by somebody within the Democratic Party. So if David does not endorse Mandela, then I would think that that was something that came from somebody within the party, which would also make me side eye the Democrats and say, this is the problem that I have with these partisan politics, because they put the party above the people. So that was just kind of my opinion on why he should endorse him.
Yeah, with David, man, I've been knowing David for a while. Don't get me wrong, because before I was in Milwaukee one day. I've been knowing David since he was just sitting at the table, like he always says, money coming down the pipe, you need to get with it. And I don't question, whether or not he's a good man, because I made a phone call. I mean, I had a conversation with him one day, and it had to do with the medical exam. He was already in hot water, but David handled that business. And David heard our voice. So I don't knock him for that, but I just think that he should have been more involved in the community. That's what really bothered me. In terms of Mandela, so if he wants to do it, that's on him. If he don't, I wouldn't be mad at him, because Mandela got some shit that he should be checking in too. I ain't seen you, bro. I ain't seen you. I heard you when you told me in the restaurant, and man, this is what it's gonna be like between theaters. I ain't seen nothing.
Right.
So for me, man, I don't get into politics. I don't really support the Democratic Party anymore, and I can't stand the Republicans. So I'm not going to be on that, bro. I don't deal with them at all, man, because they can't be trusted.
Okay.
A leader who is so wicked and evil, and that's bad. I heard you say that. Let me just get this out of you, okay? These are very despicable white racists with violent intentions. That's what they are. They follow behind him because they love him. Some people, he's a great businessman. He's more of a failure than anybody that I've ever seen in my whole entire life. He's a failure, a racist, a con artist, a fraud. Anybody in my color or people of color would have did anything close to what he did, he'd have been buried. Just like that damn judge they just let go. Like you said, they all stick together. She should have went to jail. She broke the law. If I break the law, I'm going to jail. So
Right.
they all stick together. But, when it comes to this orange man and all of these minions that's underneath them, and that goes for anybody that supports this man. I just think that they have lost their damn mind and that they need a checkup. Because if you can't see the writing on the wall, if you stole all Venezuelan oil, why am I paying $5, $6.25 for gas? For gas. That picture. And
Is Mitch McConnell alive?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I had to throw that out there.
Because they just fell out. Yeah, go ahead, man.
I just want to go to the chat room right quick. Erica Hunt says, as voters in this state, we have some additional responsibilities, and that's number one is not repeating the candidate's name that we don't want an office, and a number two, if we understand that we have to play off emotions and majority of our votes are voting based off emotions, then we got to use that to our advantage. But what we can't do is keep the narrative extremely confused or have a defeat that will not be because we have such motion voters. They'll hear some stuff and then not be not. I don't, Erica, you might have to call in with that one. I can't. I'm y'all know I'm Ron Burgundy. I just read the teleprompter, so I ain't always on point with it. She said, "Man, good night, y'all doing the same thing y'all did during the Harris and Trump election, and it's not highlighting the strong qualities of the candidate. I'm concerned with the fact that the voters are defeated and kind of have this give up mindset. I don't think that's our fault, and I don't think we doing this. You said we doing the same thing we did during the Harris. I listen, as far as that election goes, I was one of the biggest endorsers of Kamala Harris's achievements as a woman, not just as a candidate, but the fact that she was the district attorney, the fact that she had risen through the ranks and paid her dues, that she was a lawyer. So I don't know why you're saying we didn't talk about the strengths of the candidates.
I'm confused by that comment too. I'm actually a little thrown off by that.
That's all good. It's all good though.
Not mad.
He says the Democratic Party has told DC endorse the Hispanic lady. Okay. And then Erica says, I almost forgot a lot of your listeners and callers are people who used to live in Milwaukee. Okay. I hope they still do, some of them at least. Yeah. Kerry Walker Jones said Orlando.
That was a cold little shot right there. That's a cold little shot. A lot of your people are listeners who used to live in Milwaukee. And whether or not we're in Milwaukee, in California, Mississippi, or wherever it is, we're still tied to our homeland.
We still care about our place.
I hear a lot of people saying that a lot too. You know, when you don't live here, man, you don't understand it. You know, I'm there every day. I'm just not there physically, but I'm there. You know, so when people say that, I kind of get offended by that, you know, because it's kind of like throwing a low blow, like, okay, y'all don't live here, but y'all down the thing.
Don't get offended, brother. Don't get offended. Don't get offended because don't even get offended, man, because we sometimes we fall into the mindset that people got to agree with us. That's why people say stuff like that, or you don't live here anymore, you can't make a comment. I can't. You know what I'm saying? Or you a woman, you ain't a woman, you can't have a comment about abortion. I can't give my opinion because I'm not a woman, or I can't give my opinion because I don't live there. Like, this shit is ridiculous, dog. Tiffany gonna win. Fuck it.
Gary Walker Jones said Orlando, he talking about you too. Somebody always messing with Orlando because Ruben was saying he didn't understand the support for Trump. I wanted to say this though. I'm not a politician, okay? And I don't know every single thing there is about politics. I speak from a regular person's perspective, yo.
You would never be a good politician because your ass
I wouldn't be
honest
and I'm also an independent thinker, and I'm not a follower, and I'm not a yes man, and I don't pretend to be. I just try to speak to it from the perspective of somebody who's on ground zero, and that's as a person who's a regular Joe in this community. I don't put myself above or you know, I'm looking down on the people or none of that. That's why I always say us. Not you people. I say us, me, like, because I'm one of the people of this community. I was born and raised on the north side of Milwaukee. Yeah. So, you know, if you hear something on here that you don't agree with politically, I mean, I just think that's the nature of the beast. That's just the way things go. I see Erica calling back. Erica, I see you calling back. What's going on?
So a couple things that I want to touch on. It wasn't no shot, but it do play a very valid point in what I'm trying to say is, a lot of people sat back and they speculated on the election for the Harris and Trump campaign. And everybody wanted to always highlight why people said, why this. One thing I'm trying to point out is the narrative is very important when you on a public platform like this. If we got a lot of voters who are voting off of emotions, when they constantly hear you say, this ain't gonna happen, we ain't gonna never get ahead, or this person is gonna win, knowing they the worst candidate of the position, people gonna
when did I say that?
I'm not saying you did, but Ian just cracked the joke and proved my point. Ian don't live in Wisconsin, so when Tiffany becomes governor of the fucking state, Ian is not gonna have to live within this community and deal with the consequences that comes behind having a dictator, Republican, Donald Trump groupie as a governor.
Right, but in your comment, you said this is what we did. This is what y'all did with Kamala Harris and Trump. So I'm saying, when have I engaged in that kind of thing about what you just talked about? I've never engaged in that. Okay.
If these are the better candidates, we should be paying attention to the candidates. When we're speaking about a potential candidate that we want to win, we should be talking their name. I have not mentioned this man that is a Republican's name in full context yet. Why? Because I don't want that to be back in somebody's mind that when they have to polls and they vote,
He started laughing. He's like,
they
I've
can't
never
really
talked to him
they
before.
want to vote for the person that is going to pop up.
He's very intelligent.
But Erica, you do understand, and I can't speak for every other platform, but I want you to understand this about mine. I'm not here to tell nobody who to vote for. My job is to just give information on what each candidate, what their platform is, and what their pedigree is. So I'm not on here to tell you who to vote for. I just want to be a provider of information. So it's not really about saying somebody's name. I don't mind saying Tom Tiffany's name because he is a Trump groupie. He is, and to me, he's bad for the state of Wisconsin. So I'll say his name. I would hope somebody didn't go in there and have a brain fart and say, I can't remember who I'm here to vote for, but I can remember the last name I heard was Tom Tiffany and just vote for Tom Tiffany. You probably shouldn't be voting if you are that feeble-minded. You probably shouldn't be voting. Then we start moving towards having competency tests for you to be able to vote, right?
And does he care about Black Americans in any capacity or Black Wisconsinites? The last thing I remember that he said about Black people is he's concerned about Juneteenth. Why do you care about Juneteenth?
Hold on, Ian. Hold on, Ian.
Okay, my fault.
Go ahead, Ruben. Right, that's what I'm just trying to get everybody clear.
I told her thank you. I told her thank you for clarifying, between, letting me know what you was on about like that. And I'm listening to you too. So thank you for your comment.
Okay, so let me get to this chat room. This is Ace. He says, I don't trust anyone loyal to any party. We have no representation. I'm not about to let nobody screw me without kissing me. Oh, okay. He won't foreplay. Ace is real spicy tonight, right? Kerry Walker Jones said it's not just the Republicans, it's their chosen leader that is proven over and over that he is unhinged. So I side-eye anybody that follows that BS. And Kerry says the patients have taken over the asylum.
Is Mitch McConnell alive?
Is he? I seen him make a statement. I think he is.
Did you see him talking?
He said, "Who gonna talk about reparations?" That's who I'm looking for. Yeah. No. Hold on to that, right? Like head down to Illinois, head down to Evanston, Illinois, where they passed it, and then now the government is trying to stop it. But Ian, you was trying to get in here. You was talking about Tiffany being anti-Juneteenth. Like,
yeah. Why is anyone anti-Juneteenth when it has nothing to do with your culture or your race or anything like that in regard to as far as the information being passed to the last two slaves or however many slaves in Texas? Why are you so adamant about having an issue with Juneteenth? It is because I was around that party for so long, and this is why a lot of them have an issue with me. They'll be like, no, we have an issue because of this. I really don't give a fuck what none of y'all think anyway. Half of y'all fucking getting paid by the party, and the other half of you are fucking broke. So I don't give a fuck what you think. But the one thing I notice about them, when it comes to a lot of shit that involves Black people, they don't understand. And this is like a lot of them. It stems from white supremacist talking points. It does. And then you got Black people that be like, oh, well, no, I'm not about that. Or I celebrate Juneteenth, but I'm cool with the party. But the thing is, what does the party do that specifically accelerates the advancement of people of color? And people of color, we get pushed to the side so much. And then if you say anything, you get looked at like, you complaining. Or I've never seen, my father used to always say this to me, and he was a Black Panther, and my mom too. Our race is the only race of people that people want us to assimilate with.
Hold on, Orlando. I'm going to give you a chance to talk. I just want Ian to be able to finish.
And it seems like our race is the only race that just has to assimilate with everyone else. It's cool if you're Jewish and, you talk about the Holocaust. You have a Holocaust museum. You have all these different things. The government praises you. You have the president of the United States right now in a matrimony with fucking Israel. But the first time you bring up reparations, the first time you bring it up, oh, y'all need or whatever, or you'll go in some of the chat rooms and you'll see some of these people, you go on their pages, they got Trump with his fist in the air, fight, and it'll say things like, oh man, welfare is reparation, when it's more white people on welfare. But then they'll say, well, it's a higher percentage of black people. Which one is it? I don't understand how you can side with a party that over the past, what do you think, Kev? Decade, they've really been more adamant about their alignment with white supremacy. I can do some research, and then next time we talk, because I'm gonna be available for the next 3 Mondays, yay! And I literally will do some research on it. But this party right now is aligned with white supremacy. You can go to Project 2025, and this is why I think a lot of them don't agree with education, because the more you're educated, the more you see this. But the ones that are educated and they side with the Republican Party is because they're being paid by the Republican Party. Or
you seen the white supremacist group that was with the mask on, get off at the.
oh no, that's Antifa, KB. You a liberal. That's Antifa. Yeah, it's
Okay.
Antifa. Yeah, and it's like whenever someone says anything, I'll give one more example because I know Orlando, he has something to say. President Trump is really trying to sell the idea that the pool was vandalized. 350 feet with cameras and all that out there that is vandalized by liberal extremists with no evidence of it. Reminds me of the 2020 election was stolen with no evidence of it. And then you have people that support this guy and support this movement. They arrested a black nun that was from Haiti or whatever, and she was in an ICE camp recently. These people, man, yes, the country is in shambles, KB. You talked about it 30 minutes ago. My fault. Orlando, you can go ahead. My fault.
Yeah, Orlando, I know you haven't really gotten your chance to really spit
Yeah.
out, so I'm going to give you a chance to do your thing. Go ahead.
Appreciate it. I will address the unmissable one because I'm clear that at one point, let me just start to drop the backdrop of this point. The unmissable one, as he drinks his moonshine, was all with this part that he hates so much now. He was rocking with. They gave him money. He was on podcast. He was on television. He was on radio show. He talked about this guy, Jay Weber, all the time. But a cat who always, has something to say so negative now about the party that he now can't have any interaction with. At one time, he was the darling. This is the same thing who got paid. But now he will say, well, those individuals who work for the party only getting paid. But you don't have no smoke, not no real smoke for Democrats. Don't come out with, let me lay out an argument. Don't lay out an argument like that. The way Democrats, they'll get as bad as Republicans. But let me lay down the argument for why Republicans are so bad. This is a phone. He's a bottle girl. He's been that way. He's a grifter. Whatever gets him attention, like, gets paid. He is the same thing. He's acting the same. He's over fighting again. And I'll move on and digress here. You're going to look at, and how he somewhat tried to move the goalposts. Like, well, look at Republicans. No. We're talking about David Crowley and this local election on what happened here. And he's so, let me just do it this way. So, literally trying to move the goalposts. Well, Republicans and Tom Tiffany. Hold on. We got some feedback. We're talking about what's going on right now in the Democratic House. Stay in your house. If that's what you believe, right? You live right now. Stay there. And then just around your own front door and tell me what's happened. He can't do that. He can sit back and, and pick and choose. If you want to have criticism of a party and want to put up to him, he gave him access, gave him money, gave him one of his wives, whatever the case may be. He had all the access, all the influence. And he got in, and whatever the case may be, he didn't like what was going on. Whatever. I can't never take anything this bottom grower has to say to be truthful because he's such a big time life. But going forward, I will say this. This question that we brought up today has nothing to do with Tom Tiffany. This has everything to do with Mandela Barnes, David Crowley, the Democratic machine. But we want to move the goalposts like, well, let's not talk about them anymore. That's a Democratic shield. That's what he just did. Try to be slick, free card Monty, trying to move the goalposts. Let's stay focused on the question in the chat, which was what's going on with David, Mandela, Democratic Party, Ms. Rodriguez, and what she's doing, Ms. Hung, We don't want to talk about that. Let's move it somehow. Let's get that off because we want to deal with that fire. Let's deal with the Republicans. Let's say the Republicans are right now. It's a question again on undeliverable or for the liberals we see. Are black folks satisfied with the leadership we have currently in the Democratic Party? All the stuff that popped up, we want to throw the FD out. All the Democrats in the FD out as well too. We want to go from local to the presidential, right back down to the state.
Well, hold on, Orlando. Wait a minute though. That's Orlando Owens.
Hold on, brother. Listen to you, brother. But you really making me sick to my stomach because I don't understand the importance of keep.
Hold on, Ruben, give me a second. No. I don't want you to. I don't want you. I don't want you to get off the phone. I want you to. I want to let him. I want to let you. Hold on, Ruben. Hold on, but what I want you to do, is let him. What I want you to do, Ruben, because I want you to be able to respond, but I want you to let him finish, and then you can respond. I don't want to. We don't want to yell over each other. Go finish your statement, Orlando.
Let me finish this point on this conversation right now about the Democratic political, apparatus and what's going on. Brother Ruben can jump all the day. He want to come back. He want to run for Superman, whatever it case may be, and it's hard or whatever, man. If you ain't been here, you ain't been here, whatever. Cause sit back and soak up the game for a minute. But let's be clear. The conversation was what are the songs people already now, and that was the topic right now. Let me go in. Who's winning, who's losing, and why the endorsement came like it did not come to Mandela. Are we not having black solidarity? What's cracking that is so hard for black people to stay together? Again, we may think differently politically, but we're not supporting Mandela. He did ascend to the second highest political power in the state. The state is unqualified. He's not ready, whatever the case may be. Or he ain't with what black person is your cup of tea then? What nigga you want to see get it in if this nigga can't get it, but the other nigga can't get it? But we're gonna sit back with a white woman married to a Hispanic. What is her dinner gonna be like? Is she gonna be pro nigga or pro brown people? I like it.
So okay. So first of all, Orlando, the conversation extended to Tiffany because it was about who really had a chance to win. So the discussion went from David and Mandela to who the other candidates were and what were their chances of winning. So that's how Tiffany came up. Now I want to give Ruben a chance to respond because before we close out, I want to get everybody's take on this because we won't be back until Monday. So brother Ruben, you have the.
I was waiting patiently to jump in because there were so many people jumping in. I couldn't respond. I totally respect it. I know my bad, brother. I understand. Here's my position. And maybe it's because of my work. Maybe it's because of the chiefs. But I've never seen a politician attend a funeral. I've never seen a politician come down and comfort one of the families. And it angers me when I hear people keep constantly saying, well, we need to support so-and-so. We need this. No, we don't need no leader. Give us a leader that he may rule over us. Come on, bro. Why are we constantly, jumping on board with these people when there's been over 2,200 overdose deaths in Milwaukee and not one elected official, one candidate ever talked about it? I check in all the time. So, for me, it's
exactly.
I respect you, man. You're a very intelligent brother, man. And I'm listening to you, man. I just got sick to my stomach. Not from you, but from the fact that anybody would advocate for any of these people. I'm sorry. If I'm amongst our own people. That's one of the reasons that me and my team are planning a lot of this thing when we get back. We won't take it out their hands. In fact, we don't even want to seek you because we never seek you. And so, when it comes to that, I think I don't bite into it. Mandela, man, so I can talk to bro. I mean, we used to have some real deep talks, you know what I'm saying? I talked to this brother. And I was shocked. I don't care how far you rose up in the game, you take George Rich, and you never forget about your people, ever. I don't care what it is. You fight as much as you have to, just as much as you fought to get these votes, you fight just as hard to ensure that that these resources that we need in the black community are there, speaking up on all these messed up landlords, talking about these old evil police departments and everything else. You ain't doing that. So, I can't stand on board with y'all. Y'all don't hear our voices. You don't want to call me yesterday, man, at 3 o'clock in the morning when we are crying out of her eyes because she just missed her child. She's calling politicians. Everybody's trying to tell them what's going on with her baby, but they ain't got time because they're trying to, pad their portfolio or, fill it up or whatever, or pad their pockets. They don't care about us, man. Michael McGee Sr. said it great a long time ago, but he said it about white people, and I paraphrase it there about black people. Black folks don't mind because black folks don't matter. Normally it was white folks don't mind because black folks don't matter, which is true, but black folks don't mind because what we going through don't matter to them. They're thinking about themselves. You're not changing anything, and you will never change anything in the state of Wisconsin. We have to do it. And we got powerful voices. Our folks are hearing voice. Let them go over to the message.
Who is that talking?
Because you ain't giving us shit.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
I got a right to speak because this is terrible, bro. So that's where I'm at on that. I appreciate y'all time. I'm disrespecting anybody, but I'm real. And I see it. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of watching mine struggle, man. It's bad out there, bro. I just did have I'm praying God, please let me win the lottery so I can go back and take care of my damn people because ain't nobody else doing it. So
Okay.
I just have to use my voice and my resources, in order to keep things done. But that's where I'm at. Thank you guys very much.
Hey, Kev.
It's all good, Ruben. Go ahead, Ian.
I just want to say this, and this is just listening.
I'm gonna give you a chance, Erica. Give me a second.
Kind of listening to part of what Ruben said, and just far as how I feel about the whole thing. I just believe a lot of these supporters of political parties, especially the paid operatives, I think they are, in the words of Tupac, they are with the Judas word of Jesus. They're here to confuse things. You got a president that's a 34-time felon, an adjudicated rapist, and part of the Epstein files. And they love to say, well, we don't have any hardcore evidence. He's in there like thousands of times, but that's not enough for them until it comes out. The same fake news that they hate, right? When it says something against what their narrative is. But if something came out about Trump being in the Epstein files, oh, it's the fake news. But when it's something positive, see, we told you the economy's getting better and the jobs list is getting there. That's all they are, man. All this stuff is a distraction for all the stuff that Trump is doing, them enriching themselves. You got the paid operatives at the bottom. They get their little pennies, and then they go ahead and this is the Republican Party so good, boss. The Democrat Party so good, boss. Yes, massa. Yeah, it's so good. You black people need to support it because of whatever. It's ridiculous, bro. These motherfuckers are cornballs.
All right, Erica, what's your take on this? Because I'm about to close this down. So what's on your mind? Erica, did she hang up? She's like, he won't let me talk.
She probably got dropped on accident.
No, she didn't. If she hung up, she hung up.
Erica's a very powerful woman, man. I've been checking her out on the low. She's a very, very good person, too. Amazing woman, man. She got a voice, bro. Hey, man, listen to all y'all, man. I got to get out of here, man. I got an early flight, man. I love y'all, man. God bless y'all.
Love you too, bro.
Y'all, man. Thank you for your time, bro.
Peace out, Ruben.
All right, now, y'all be easy.
All right, now.
And then I'm going to call you in, man. I'm going to get up with you, bro. Yeah, I'm learning you now. So I'll let you, bro. Y'all be blessed.
All right, now.
He said he's going to holler. Who?
Who got paid, and now they want to say getting paid is wrong to help build build their platform and got paid, got jobs, got access. It's crazy. And the individual one knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's crazy how he got in, he got paid great. And his thing is for these operatives. You are an operative, and you've been an operative. And now you say, well, I don't like them, but you don't go hard at them like you do at the public. It's always weird to me and odd to me, but I'll leave the unspoken one to speak for himself because I know who you are. I've seen you at the event. I know that you got paid. You did events and did what you did. But it's odd, Kev. And again, people can change and feel like they gotta they seem alike. They had a Jesus moment or whatever the case may be. But it's odd when you got cats to get money. Good money. Oh man.
Well, I mean, we obviously know you're talking about Ian. So I just want to say,
what did he say?
He's basically saying that you took money, that you are the operative, that you were in the Republican Party, you were a supporter of everything, you took money and you switched up. So now you calling the kettle black because you're talking about people getting money when that's once what you were in the Republican Party.
But the thing is, who paid me? The thing is about that, I'm just wondering who paid me. Because I literally liked a lot of parts of the party because, like, I really agree with small government and shit like that, like business initiatives. And that's how motherfuckers kind of brought me in. But the thing is, though, I was watching fucking TMJ4 and Orlando. They talk about him, actually getting paid from the, Republican Party. And this is why I be saying the shit that I say about Orlando. Like, it is what it is. Like, he like to be the unmentionable one and all that. Like, he tried to create, far as attention to himself and try to be funny. But what's funny is you a black man, pretty intelligent, got a business degree, all that kind of stuff, and you support a party that is what they are. We don't got to even go into detail because I know you closing it out, KB. It's already 8 minutes past the hour, but it's just laughable. So I'm gonna do what I do like normally. Like, I mean, I didn't get paid from anybody. I just literally thought that the party was better for a lot of different reasons because I always had issues with the Democrat Party. So I was just a dumbass thinking I was gonna be a dumbass do-gooder, and this party would be better for people if they believed in like business, economics, and whatever. And after I went to a lot of the rallies and stuff, I realized that they might be worse than the Republican Party. It's the same bird, it's just different wings. So, I mean, like he said that, and then I'm going to close it up with this. Orlando, I appreciate everything you just said. Now, show me some verified proof that I was getting paid from someone. And that's the problem with you guys that are part of that party. House niggas like you that are part of that party, because you can't even produce no evidence to that. Because Orlando knows one thing, Kevin, you don't know nothing else. My reputation is important. Like, I've made mistakes. I got, shit I've done wrong in my life or whatever. But if you say I was getting paid by a party, bro, you got to prove it. And the thing is,
so check this out. Erica said y'all still talking in circles, but what we gonna do to support a black candidate? Are we gonna keep talking in circles until it's too late and then we're out organized? Erica, I have no idea what you're talking about because I gave a whole diatribe about black solidarity and the need for us to support each other as black people. So I don't know how that's a circle.
Kevin's confused.
I don't know if you didn't hear that part. And it's something that I'm consistent in talking about is black solidarity. So I don't know what show you listen to. I don't know if you did. I don't know. I don't know how you missed all of that. I talked about the fact that it should be people over party, right? Yes. And I talked about the fact that we need to vote and why it's important for black people to vote, and also discuss the importance of the black vote and how it swayed Tony Evers' election. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. Maybe you just missed that part of the show, but maybe it's just selective. Maybe you just didn't want to hear that part. Erica, you calling back? I'm about to close out. What you got?
It was definitely sarcasm. Okay, I'm dead ass. Like, we can't be sitting up here steady talking in circles about airing this man dirty laundry and airing this man dirty laundry and confusing the voters and not knowing if we're gonna pick a side. Before we already out organized. If we continue to do that, and I hear you, Kev, saying I'm supporting the black man, but I'm not telling nobody who to vote for. That's leaving that grayish confusement line there. And you know, you grow, you can do what you want to do. This your platform, you can do what you want to do. But I just want to shine.
How are you confused? Because I tell you as much information as I have about either candidate, and I let you make the decision. Okay, then. Well, once again, if this, well, then obviously that don't hit for you. But there are some people, and I know it's some people because they called me or they've sent me messages saying, "Bro, I didn't know a lot of the stuff I heard on the show. So thank you for letting me know that." So if it, you know, if the shoe fits, buy a matching purse. So I don't. As far as that goes, I'm not leaving anybody confused by saying, "Here's the two candidates. Pick the one you feel is better for you." How many times have we spoken on this show about not voting against your best interests? Millions of times. See, I've been doing this about 14 years now. So what nobody can say is that I've been confusing or misleading people. All we've ever done is provide information and provided facts for people to say.
Who's implying that, though, KB? Is somebody implying that you misleading people? Because I can't hear half of the callers. Who implied that you're misleading people?
She made a comment and she was saying that we was talking in circles, and she just called back and was basically saying, by me saying vote for black people, but I'm gonna vote black, but I don't tell people who to vote for. I was leaving some gray area that would confuse people. So if that's her perspective, if that's her take,
that's what I'm looking for.
Okay. Well, then you should call for action. Then you should call for action and don't call me out like I'm doing something wrong or misleading the people. That's my only point to you.
But this is the shit I be talking about. There is no misleading the people in regard to Outlaw Radio. You just present information and we talk about it. We debate. I give my opinion. You give yours. Even Orlando, who I don't agree with or whatever. And I'm going to make another funny ass video about while he talking shit, because that's how I got to respond, because I can't whoop his ass. But even he has an opinion. So it's like everybody has an opinion. And I don't know how you misleading anybody, though. Maybe Monday she can call back and explain that. Because I'm
gonna close the show out. I'm gonna close the show out by giving our disclaimer, y'all. First of all, thank y'all for tuning in. Please share the show. We'll be back. We will be back on Monday to continue the conversation. And so I just want to say this: the opinions expressed on Outlaw Radio are solely those of the motherfucker that said it. Know who to be mad at, okay? Other than that, man, peace and love. Y'all have a great weekend. Please tell the people that you love them, because you don't know how long you'll have them. Hug your kids, talk to your kids, man. Keep your head on the swivel and be safe, man. If your criticism of the community outweighs your contribution to it, then you're probably a coon, and you need to be listening every time we turn the machine on. So Orlando. Peace and love, man. I will see y'all Monday.
Love all y'all, even Orlando. Bye.